All right, we're on the air. Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are all doing well today. I hope you guys are all having a great Sunday. I hope you guys are all doing well. As you could see from the title, or if you guys are on Twitter or on my mailing list, or well, newsletter, not mailing list, then you guys will know that I launched a new book today. We've got the Kindle ebook version up. The paperback version will be coming in a few days. I still need to get the back cover and spine files from my cover designer before I upload those. But for now, we've got the paperback or the ebook uploaded. I can't speak today. We've got the ebook uploaded today. And it's here in the chat as well as in the description. And I'm gonna say hi to those of you in here. We got 6 people in here, guys. Please hit the thumbs up and share out the link. And let's get some more people in here so we could have this awesome super shill stream. I don't know if I'm gonna have guests. Usually, a super chill stream will have a bunch of guests, or at least try to. But I didn't even invite anybody to this one, so maybe I'll end up inviting people. I just didn't know who would care enough about me launching a book on Amazon, so I didn't really invite any guests. But maybe we'll end up inviting some guests on. We'll see. But Fly Fox Pro, nice to see you here. Nice to see you, P Money. Josh Graydon says, Yo, Nasser, always glad when you launch a new project. Thank you, man. Um, let's see. Flyfox Pro says, learn to do the talkings, please. Yeah, today's not a day for talking. It's just not my day. I think I've messed up my sentences at least 5 or 6 different times since I launched the stream. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna share my screen in just a second here. Let's see, share screen. I'm always a boomer when it comes to sharing my screen on StreamYard. Um, Okay, cool. There we go. So, as you guys could see here, we have Locked Coffins, the prequel to Eternity. This is the Eternity series, book 3. I have 5 books on Amazon now. That's crazy. I I almost took a shot at somebody, but I didn't know if I should or not. But we've got here Eternity. Which was my debut novel on Amazon, and then Inner Demons, the sequel here, and now we have Locked Coffins, which is the prequel to both books. So, man, Locked Coffins, you guys, that was a story I wrote as a comic. I want to say 3 years ago, probably even more than 3 years ago now. But 3 years ago, I wrote this it was an anthology. It was like 25 issues and it was called Locked Coffins. And out of that anthology, like there was like a thread between all the stories in that anthology. It had the same sort of monster. But then when I sat down with them and looked through them all a few months ago, I was like, you know what? This anthology sucks. So instead of making this book an anthology, I just took the best story out of there and expanded it and turned it into this book. So this book right here, Locked Coffins, this was my first story I wrote with the monster Ancient Evil from Eternity. But Eternity was the first novel I wrote and finished. I tried to write a couple novels before Eternity, and I rage quit them. But Eternity was the first one I wrote and actually finished. Actually, no, it wasn't the first one I finished, but it was one of the first ones I finished. Um, but anyways, so Eternity was the first novel I wrote with this monster, and then I went back to my first story with this monster. I know it's getting confusing. There's an ancient evil in Eternity, um, and I wrote Eternity as a novel first. It wasn't a comic, but the first story I wrote with that same ancient evil was in a comic I wrote called Locked Coffins, and now that comic I wrote is now a novel. But yeah, so there's Eternity and then Inner Demons, which is the sequel, which I think is probably the best one out of the three, is probably Inner Demons. And then now there's Locked Coffins, which completes the trilogy. So if you guys want to check these out, basically all 3 books are about these ancient evils, and each one of them follows a different group of people. And Inner Demons is probably Yeah, that one's probably the best one. I think I'd have to go with Inner Demons. That's my favorite one, and I can't talk about it too much without giving away any spoilers. But in the first one, there's two ancient evils on a collision course. In the second one, it sort of continues that story, although it's all different characters. And then the third one, Locked Coffins, really gives you the origin of the ancient evils. And you could start with Locked Coffins first if that one interests you more. Than Eternity, then you could start with Locked Coffins. So you could either go Eternity, Inner Demons, then Locked Coffins, or Locked Coffins, then Eternity, then Inner Demons. So it's really up to you. But those are the three books in that series. And Locked Coffins, for anybody just tuning in, this one just launched today. We have the ebook up for $2.99, and the paperback will be coming soon. The paperback's going to be $10. But I need to get the file for the spine and the back cover first from my cover designer, and so I'll have that any day now. So it should be within the next few days that this book is that the paperback's live on Amazon. But right now the ebook is, and it's $2.99. All my books are $2.99. So that's, let's see, how much is it? Like $14.95, I think. What's $2.99 times 5? Let's see. 2.99 times 5, yeah, 14.95. That's 14.95 for like 1,000 pages, you guys. $14.95 gets you over 1,000 pages here between all of my books. Over 1,000 pages for under $15. I need to update my Twitter pinned post now. I'm gonna be doing that after this stream. I'm gonna have to update my pinned post on Twitter because now there's even more books. So if any of you guys need something to read during quarantine, then I have 5 books for you guys, over 1,000 pages, and it's $14.95 for all of them. If you guys got any questions about any of the books, let me know. But I'm really happy to have this book up and to finish that series. And I hopefully will have another book up maybe this year, or maybe it'll be early 2021. But I'm glad to have this story out. Eternity was my very first story idea I had, and I wanted to make it into a comic, and I just could never figure out how to do it because it was my first idea, and I had no clue how to write it. And then years later, when I sat down to write it, I was like, you know what? Why don't I just write it as a regular book and try to write a novel? So Eternity was my very first story idea, you guys, and I don't know where it came from. I sat down on my couch and I said, "This is your first story idea." And I had the idea. I sat down on my couch and said, "What if this boy finds this ancient book that talks about these ancient these it's I'm messing up now. I can't speak today. My first idea for Eternity was, what if this boy somehow finds this ancient book that tells him how to do these ancient rituals, and he uses them to get payback?" And that was, I don't know where it came from. I just sat down on my couch one day and I said, "Your first story idea, go." And that's what it was. I said, "This will be my first idea." And so that was it back in 2014, you guys, back in 2014. So 6 years ago, I just sat down on my couch and I said, bam, this is the first idea. And that's where Eternity came from. Inner Demons, I don't really know where that one came from either, because after I was pretty much when I reached the end of Eternity, I was like, you know what? Wouldn't it be cool if, and that's where it gets into spoilers, and I can't explain Inner Demons too much without spoilers, but it just randomly popped into my head. And Locked Coffins was a story idea I got when I was watching Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And it's pretty close to New Nightmare, honestly, but that was a story I got a few years ago when watching that movie, and I tried writing that, and I did write that as a comic, but then I turned it into a regular book. But yeah, so that's the Eternity series: Eternity, Inner Demons, and Locked Coffins. So I'm gonna go back to StreamYard now and stop sharing real quick, and I'll put the let me get the link copied. I don't have it copied. Here we go. Let me get back here, and I will put this link here for the new book. Well, let me catch up in the chat here. It's actually moving a lot. Um, Josh Graydon says, "Oh, nice metal name." Yeah, the name Lots Coffins came when I was reading a book called Rachel Rising. It's a comic, and in one of the panels, somebody said something like, "We can't lock it in a coffin," and I was like, "Oh, locked coffins. That sounds like a good name." So that's where that title came from. The other ones, I don't really even know where the titles came from. They just sort of happened. Um, Let's see. P Money says, I've read book one, haven't read the second book yet. I'll put that on my list. And this one after I get back from vacation in 2 weeks. Awesome, P Money. Enjoy your vacation. And please leave a review if you haven't yet, man. Um, Fly Fox Pro says, should someone read the first, or this first or Eternity? Whichever interests you more, really. It depends. Eternity has sort of teenage characters and Locked Coffins has more like adult characters, so I guess depends whichever sort of age group you prefer to read. I mean, you might as well just go in order, but if the blurb on this one happens to interest you a little bit more, you could read this one first. Um, let's see. Hervoge says, "Take the shot." I don't know what that means. Did I miss something? P Money says, I also read Eclipse Theater. Well, thank you very much, man. And please leave a review for that one if you haven't. Um, let's see. Nathaniel Kraft says, who we canceling today? We're not canceling anybody, man. We're just here having a super. I can't even talk. We're having a super shill stream today. We're not canceling anybody. We've never canceled anybody around here. um, oh, Josh Graydon says the universe. We're canceling the universe. Um, oh, thank you, Fly Fox Pro. He says he likes the few stories he's read so far from the Eclipse Theater. Well, thank you, man. Um, any chance you can add the three Eternity books into one book? How hard is that to do? That's not hard at all. I'm gonna do that eventually. Um, I just don't know when. I got some other projects to take care of first before I put out that I guess I'd call it an omnibus. Um, before I put out the Eternity omnibus, I just have some other books that I want to finish writing and editing first, and I don't know. There's some other books that are taking priority right now over putting out that sort of omnibus thing. But there will be an omnibus eventually. Just it might have to wait till next year sometime. I do want to do a collected edition. Yeah, Josh Graydon says, should I read Eternity first or Locked Coffins? Uh, just depends sort of if Eternity interests you more or Locked Coffins. Just depends. Eternity has sort of teenage characters. Locked Coffins has more adult characters. It just depends whatever you enjoy reading most. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably just go right in order, but if you find yourself more interested in Locked Coffins, you could always read it first because it's a prequel. Um, Oh man, Fly Fox Pro, I forgot because he sent me more of the book he was working on, and I completely forgot that I still had to catch up on it and read some more of it. Fly Fox Pro, I will eventually catch up on it. I'm sorry, man. It's been a hectic few days around here, man. Um, um, okay, Josh Graydon says, crud, I gotta dip out and go to work. God bless you, Nasser, and Machat people. God bless you too, Josh. Thanks for stopping by, man. Um, let's see. I think it's kind of crazy that printing technology has come this far. Um, what you mean that we could do like print on demand like this? That it like just how easy it is to get these books printed, or what exactly? I think I'm a little lost. I should try to clean up some of my short stories and put out an anthology collection. That's a good idea. P Money says Nasser needs to add all his stories to one book and call it the Nasser collection. That'd probably be too long of a book. Um, Fly Fox Pro says I keep worrying the houses down the street will start appearing old and no one will know who the people who live there are but me. Alrighty then. I think I'm gonna invite some guests on. I'm gonna get this link copied and I'm gonna invite a few guests. So I'm sorry to do this on the air and be sort of boomerish, but Just give me a minute here, guys, while I go over to Twitter and let me invite. I'll invite. I guess I'll invite the regulars, but let me scroll down and try and find where everybody is. It's been a while since I had to send out these stream links. Everybody's buried. Um, well, there's one person. We'll invite SWC. They get an invite. Let's see. Where's Doug? Has it been this long since I messaged Doug? Yeah, Doug was buried. We'll give Doug the link. Um, let's see. Maybe we'll invite Tim Lim. Let's see. It's been a while since we streamed with Tim. Let's see. Here's Mark. Let's give Mark the link. I guess that's it. I guess that's who I usually invite on these things. I don't know if there's anybody else I want to invite on here. It's Jiminy's birthday today, or else I'd send him a link, but I don't think he's gonna get on his birthday. Let's see. Is there anybody else I want to invite on here? No, I think that's it. I think that's the usual crew. That's the usual people I stream with. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Um, and then I'm gonna get the book link copied again. So thanks guys for bearing with me while I went over to Twitter. That might have killed the stream because we went down like 3 or 4 viewers. But guys, please hit the thumbs up and share out the link. And I'm gonna post the link here again in the chat for my new ebook. So if you guys want to click on that link right there, then that'll take you to it over on Amazon. I'm gonna check this on the air and see if we sold any copies right now. Um, okay, we were at 2 copies for the day, but I did sell a paperback today, so that's pretty cool. It's not this book because the paperback's not up yet. So I wanted to see if we went up in sales, and we did go up because a paperback just appeared on my dashboard. But I was curious about this book specifically. We've moved 2 copies today. Um, of Locked Coffins. So if you guys, I know a lot of people want to wait for the hard copy, but if anyone wants the ebook, you can go ahead and get the ebook for $2.99. Um, I am actually thinking about raising the prices of my ebooks, so get them while you can for anybody. Excuse me, anybody that's an get them at $2.99 while you can, because I've got a few novellas that I'm planning to put out soon, and those novellas, since they're shorter, I was thinking to keep those at $2.99 and put my novels up to $4.99. So definitely get them while you can, you guys, at this price if you're interested in the ebooks. Um, get them while you can, because I'm thinking to move them up to $4.99, because I'm gonna put up some novellas soon, and those books are significantly shorter than a novel. So I'm thinking to put the novellas at $2.99 and the novels at $4.99. So um, get them while you can. They'll be $2.99 up until I finally upload my novellas, but and so I don't know exactly when that'll be, but no point in waiting. Get them now. Get them now in time for Halloween, in time for October, for spooky season. Spooky season started on the 1st of this month, so it's already been a few days. We're almost halfway through the month, and it's spooky season. So get these books while you can, you guys, at the $2.99 price, and get them in time for October, for fall, for Halloween. Get some spooky reads, you guys. Let me see. Let me catch up in the chat here. P Money says, "Okay, Nasser, I just bought the ebook. I'll read it while I'm on vacation. Can I kick you now?" Oh man, thank you so much. We got a sale. Yippee! Thank you so much, P Money. Yes, you could kick me whenever. You've bought all my books, I think. I think you've bought all of them actually. So thank you very much, man. Yeah, you could kick me whenever. Um, thank you very much. Thank you to everybody who's bought them today. Um, let's see. I hope some of my guests come on, guys, because I'm gonna be a little bit awkward all alone. But let me know in the chat how you guys are doing. We've got 10 people in here, guys. I hope you guys are all doing swell today on this lovely Sunday. I hope you guys are all doing well today. And if you guys got any questions for me or anything you guys want to talk about or discuss or anything, let me know down in the chat. Because because I'd like to talk with you guys, and it's really awkward when I'm up here by myself. So you guys make it easier on me whenever there's something to talk about in the chat. Whenever stuff's going on in the chat, that automatically makes it easier. But um, let's see. Fly Fox Pro says I'm not as true a fan because I've only bought the Eclipse Theater. If you send me your address, I'll send you my comics. I'll send them your way. Uh, excuse me, Fly Fox Pro. If you just message me on Twitter, just send me your address. I'll send you my comics. I lost my train of thought. I was gonna say something else, but I don't know. Hold on. Let's see. There's a couple chats I want to read. Let's see. Hervoge says watching the Earthworm Jim show. Second season is better than the second. Second season is better than the second half of the first season. That took me a second to understand, but that's cool, man. I'd like to watch it. I don't think it has a DVD or anything. I saw a bootleg DVD of it when I was at C2E2 this year, um, but I wasn't gonna pirate my friend's stuff, so I wasn't gonna pirate Doug's show or anything. Um, P Money says, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm at work today. I'm working for the next 3 days before I go on vacation. The next 3 days are gonna take forever." Oh man, where are you going for vacation, P Money? I hope it's not a place in Canada. Flyfox Pro says, yeah, print on demand. Yeah, it's really awesome what we could do with print on demand. I love it. I love print on demand. I can't wait to have even more books print on demand. It's really awesome that you don't need to print a bunch of them and get this big backlog, and it's really cool that it just prints when it sells. I really dig that. I'm gonna do that with my comics eventually. Um, I just don't know when, because I've got a lot of. Oh man, there's an ambulance going by my street. I don't know if it picked up on my mic, but I've got a bunch of copies of my comics still, and I'm like, man, if I put them on Amazon, then I'll just never sell these ones, and I'll just be stuck with them. So I don't know. I'll put my comics up there on Amazon and Kindle eventually, but yeah, I love print on demand, and I love offering these books print on demand and not needing to have a big backlog of them. I think I only have like, let me see, how many copies do I have of my books? They're sitting over there on a shelf. Let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I think I lost count. I have like 7 copies of Inner Demons. I think one, two, three, 4 copies of Eternity. I have no copies of the Eclipse Theater left except for my copy that I show off in my videos at my table whenever I'm like, buy my books down in the description. That's like my only copy I personally have of the Eclipse Theater. And then Duality, I think I have one, two, three, four, five, six, 7. I think 7 copies of Duality. So yeah, I hardly have like any copies of my books. I just love having them print on demand. I love that they just print when they sell. Do 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 do. See what else is going on. Hervoche is talking about pirating. I don't pirate. Tell me about the puppet horror movies. I forget the name. They look super creepy. Oh, Puppet Master. Oh man, Puppet Master. Let's see. I've seen. There's a bunch of them. I have all of them except one. I have to get the newest one. It's a remake from a couple years ago. I have a box set of them, and I've seen the first 8 of them, and the first 6 are really good, but 7 and 8 really sucked. And I've heard the rest of them suck too, so I don't know if I'm ever gonna watch the rest. But Puppet Master 1 through 6, those ones are really fun. Um, how do I want to explain it without like spoiling it? It's kind of hard, but like I don't know, man. If you like puppets, you'll like these movies. I love everything that has to do with dolls or puppets or anything like that. They creep me out. That's the book I'm writing right now, and the book I wrote right before it are both about puppets, or dolls rather, both about like possessed dolls and stuff. So I love everything to do with dolls and puppets and possessed dolls, killer dolls, all that stuff. The Talking Tina episode of the Twilight Zone, I love that, and anything to do with any sort of possessed doll, haunted doll, anything like that. I really love. So Puppet Master, definitely check it out if you like anything along those lines, dude. Hello, Samuel Ulkey. Nice to see you here, dude. P Money says my kids haven't seen their grandma and papa in a year because of COVID, so we are finally gonna go see them. That's cool, man. P Money says I may have read your books, but to be completely honest, I did read one of them because you put it up for free. Um, that's okay. Um, well, I think I just answered this one, Firefox Pro, unless there's a delay between StreamYard and what you just said. But I just said the last book I wrote and the one I'm writing now are both about like possessed dolls. um, so yes, the answer is yes. Um, nice to see you in the chat, Timothy Best. Nice to see you here, man. We got all the regulars. Um, Fly Fox Pro says I hate killer doll stories. Too creepy, so scary. Oh man, they're the best. They're really. I don't know what it is about them that really intrigue me. I don't know what it is, but I just really like them. Do do do. And of course, I'm putting the link to my newest ebook here in the chat. Um, because it wouldn't be a super shill stream without posting the link constantly. So that's the link right there, you guys. That'll take you to the newest book, Fly Fox Pro. Speaking of Donald DeLay, you could tell who really cares about putting out books when, in the same span of time when he does not have our book out yet, I've put out 2 comics, 4 novels, and a short story collection. So that's 7 books compared to 1. Um, Firefox Pro says it's the perversion of innocence. Toys are meant to comfort, not kill. Um, I don't know. I don't know if that's it or what it is, but I just love killer dolls, possessed dolls. It's I don't know. It's creepy. It's just creepy. Um, except the part I don't like is like. Okay, and like a movie where like like the little girl will get like a doll as a gift, and it'll be like some hideous doll that's obviously possessed. Like it'll like Annabelle. Like you just take one look at Annabelle, and you're like, yeah, this doll's possessed. Like I hate that. I hate when they get like an ugly doll that like you just know is possessed. I think it's better when they get like a sweet looking doll, like in Child's Play, like the good guy doll. Like it looks just like a nice little toy. It's like, oh, this would never do anything wrong. And then whenever it's whenever he's not pretending to be a toy, and then it's got the face that like just scrunches up and looks all evil. Whenever Chucky decides to actually like talk and move around, like I like it more like that. Um, and that's sort of like with Puppet Master, like all but like probably one of the dolls looks like it's just like a normal toy. Um, but then you get those movies where the doll clearly looks possessed, and it's like, why would anybody ever buy this toy? And then it is possessed, and it kills people, and I'm like, well, you guys sort of deserved it because you bought this doll, and it just looked possessed already. You just took one look, you just take one look at it, and you'd know. Um, we've got the Art of Reading here. Nice to see you, man. Um, let's see. Flyfox Pro says the real Annabelle was just like a Raggedy Ann doll. Then he says monsters being beautiful are more scary. Yeah, that's why like like a possessed child or something might. Oh my goodness, something just dropped in my room. I have no clue what just dropped, and now I'm scared. What just dropped? I'm trying to look around and see what just dropped, and I have no clue. What was that? What just fell? Something fell. I'm getting scared now, you guys. Oh, I found it. It was a comic that just fell off my desk. Oh my goodness. I just got so creeped out. I gotta move this. It was behind my computer and it fell behind the desk right as I said possessed children. But yeah, but like, like a movie like The Innocents from 1961. That movie is terrifying, and it doesn't need like any of the kids to look like real terrifying or anything. It doesn't make them look like little mutants. um, my goodness, guys. Um, let's see. Everybody's laughing at me, saying "Ghost," saying the house is haunted, confirmed, and Timothy Best saying the ghosts are gonna whack Nasser now. It's all over. No, there was uh, a comic behind my computer, and it fell behind the desk, and I was confused. I didn't know where it came from. Oh man, Donald employed the ghosts to take down Nasser. Better call Ghostbusters. Yeah, those ghosts are gonna get paid more than I'll ever get paid. uh, let's see. Did any of my guests actually see this link? Let's see if anybody saw it yet. Let's see who's ignoring me. Um, SWC hasn't seen it. Doug's seen it. I guess Doug's ignoring me. He's probably not gonna come by. Tim's seen it. Tim didn't say anything. And Mark saw it. Well, I guess everybody's gonna ignore me today. Oh man, let's see what's. Well, I mean, at least Mark retweeted me though. He retweeted this, so thanks, Mark. But let's see what else is going on Twitter. I'm checking my notifications. Um, oh, cool. We've got Point Man Comics tweeting it out. I just saw that. Thanks, man. I'm just checking my notifications right now. Um, Man, it would be cool to have some guests on. But let's see. I'm gonna refresh my dashboard since this is a super chill stream. Let's see what we're up to. Cool. We're up to 3 ebooks sold today. That's pretty cool. So if you guys need the link for it, I'm gonna post it here again in the chat. I'm gonna spam it. Um, we've got 12 people in here, guys. Please hit the thumbs up and share out the link. Let's get some more people in here. Um, Pennywise looking creepy right off the bat is a mistake. Um, yeah, I think so too. I think it. I mean, he looks terrifying right off the bat. So it's like you know what you're getting into right away. You're like, yeah, this is a killer clown, and he could do like you just look at him and you know there's something wrong with him. But I think if he looked a little bit more normal, it would have been creepier once everything else started to be introduced into the story. I'm with you on that. Although I think it works with like Freddy Krueger, how he just already he looks like a pizza. So I think that's fine with him looking creepy right off the bat. But it just depends on what the story is. I think for Pennywise, yeah, he would have looked creepier if he were more normal. Um, let's see. P Money says, "No wonder the ghosts were so cheap because they can't even do what I asked them to." Yeah, that's true. Skinny says, "Why did my comment disappear? I don't see any comments from you, man. Um, was it a glitch? Like I'm looking back on the chat and I don't see anything from you. Nothing. And you're a wrench too. You have a wrench. So yeah, nothing disappeared. um, Skinny, while you're here, feel free to post a link to your book. Because you're a wrench. I don't care if my wrenches show their own books. So you could post a link to your book if you want. This is it's the super shill stream. It wouldn't be a super shill stream unless we all shilled. So I need you guys to all shill. Um, so if you want to chill, go right ahead. Do. Let's see. I'll invite Skinny on here if he wants to talk books or anything. Let's see. Let me go to Twitter real quick and we'll invite Skinny on it. And Skinny, like I said, if you're still here, feel free to post the link to your book. Um, let's see. We'll invite Skinny on. There we go. Let me invite. Let's see, because we've let me see if Tyler from Draw and Talk is free. Maybe we'll get Tyler on. It's been a while since I had Tyler on. He's always fun to have on, and I think he's launching something pretty soon. maybe he'll be able to come by and talk about it. Maybe we'll get Tyler on. I know he's launching something pretty soon. Um, Let me see what Skinny says. I'm at work, but I'm off in like 10. Uh, I'm outside sneaking a cigarette. All right, man. Well, I mean, I'll still be going in 10 minutes. Yeah, if you want to come on. Um, Let's see what else is going on in the chat. Firefox Pro says a clown in a drain sewer is creepy enough. The point is the kid isn't afraid of the clown. Yeah, you're right about that. Herodia says Freddy was written as an older man. David Warner was supposed to play him. I don't think anybody was supposed to play him before Robert Englund. Flyfox Post says Freddy is like Jaws in the first movie. His legend is built up before anything happens. It's also true. We've got Train. Hold on. Let's get Thomas in here. Yo, what's going on, man?
John Saul is streaming. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Train wrecked comic fandom for life has been comparing my books to John Saul. I've never read any John Saul books, but I bought a few since he's been making the comparison lately.
I've never heard of him, but I don't know. Is that good? Is that good?
I think it is. I think he's a pretty popular author. I've just never read his books, but I just bought some recently, but
That's
haven't
cool.
read them yet. But man, how are you doing? I see you've been putting your books up on Amazon. I'm gonna be buying those pretty soon.
Yeah, finally I decided to actually go for it and be like, oh, I'll put on books on Amazon. Like the whole for comic books, it's so much harder than if you because you know that paperback system. It would
Yeah.
be kind of easy if it was just text, but when it's a comic, it's got all these alignment problems. Um, and so like for literally number one, we had to upload like 50 different PDFs just to figure it out. Um, but eventually we got it figured out, and you know, getting that figured out made it a lot easier to get the brand new comic figured out too. So literally number one is now available in for paperback on Amazon, and then the new comic we just put out yesterday, Villains of the Snow Sea number one, is also on Amazon on paperback, and that's going to go on Comixology too. But and then it's also on Gumroad right now for people who just want to read it right this second digitally.
Awesome. And with putting out those two books, you've put out more books than most of
Yeah,
CG.
officially more prolific than 99% of comics.
Right. And we've also got Tyler in here. How are you doing, Tyler?
What's up, dude? You caught me at a good time.
Oh, that's
Hello.
surprising. That's surprising,
Yeah, I know,
Tyler.
right?
I was sending out the links to people, and I saw you were in my recent messages, and I was like, we'll get Tyler on because I'm sure he has a comic coming up to shill or something. Because you always
I
got
do.
projects going.
I'm actually working on it, like, right this second. I'm penciling the final page. I'm giving out a free comic on my Gumroad, in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man. And
It's
if
a good
if
way to do it. That's one of the things I really like about Gumroad is that it's like you can just put it up for free and be like, here, get a sample of the kind of comics I make at least. That's good.
And if either of you guys want to like show the links to your books or anything, I think you're
Oh,
both
yeah.
wrenches. If you guys want to put it in the chat,
Yeah.
feel free. If I don't know if either of you saw the name of the stream, but it's called new book launched super shill stream because I launched a new ebook today. So it's a super shill stream. So that the point of this entire stream is just we're just shilling stuff.
Yeah, I noticed
So
you had you were posting the covers and stuff. I was like, oh, I will retweet.
yeah,
Yay.
but yeah, if you want to post any of your guys' books in the chat, go ahead. We've got 9 people in here, guys. Hit the thumbs up and or thumbs down if you want, and share out the link, and let's get some more eyes on these
I
projects.
just put the link to my Gumroad site. The whole site is pay what you want, for the
Mm.
exception of like 2 books. So you can either pay zero monies, $5, $10. One person did 30 once. It's totally up to you, but the whole site's pay what you want.
Mm.
Pretty
Which,
cool.
by the way, is ending. Which will be ending next year.
Pretty cool. I'm gonna
Get it
I'm gonna
while you can.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be checking out your books because as long as I've known you, I've actually never bought any of your comics. And there was one time I almost bought one before I think I don't know if you remember this story. There's one of your comics I almost bought before I knew you at the Insane
Yeah.
Comics booth at a con, and I was like, this one looks pretty cool. And then that other dude that was there, I forget his name, he's like, well, have you checked out my book? And then he sold me on his instead
Uh-huh.
of yours.
Do you remember what that guy's name was?
No, but
Do you
I
remember
mean,
what the book was?
I have it around here somewhere. It's in a long box. But
Gotcha.
I remember we talked about it. You knew who it was, but I can't remember.
Yeah, if it was Frank Martin, um he did Modern Godhood.
No, I don't think it was that book. It was something else. I can't
Okay.
remember. But
Well, he's the one who wrote the comic I'm working on right now
oh, okay.
that we're giving away for free.
All right. And so yeah, guys. So there's the links in the chat for Tyler's Gumroad, and then for SWC's books on Amazon and Comixology. And who would have thought that you didn't even need a crowdfund for all these books? You could just actually just buy them and read them.
Yeah, no campaign. I really prefer that. I mean, I understand if people need a campaign to make their book exist or to cover printing costs, but aside from that, it's like I don't know, to use a campaign as a store is a little weird when there are a lot of actual marketplaces that work as a store. I mean, it does still work technically to use your campaign as a store, and I think that's fine. Especially if your comic is either already done or it's about ready. That's definitely the best way. That's the only people you should ever back are people who already have the book done or nearly done and pretty much ready to send off, and then they do the campaign. Those are the only campaigns that anyone should ever back. Anything aside from that is pretty much a scam.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing because I never had mine done before launching. So now I'm only gonna launch when they're done or like 99% done. And like by 99%, I don't even mean pages. I just mean like lettering and stuff. Like it's got to be like all the art's got to be done.
Yeah, that last phase. Although with your stuff, yours was always the stuff that was either on time or early. So
Yeah,
that's not
yeah,
even a concern.
and in this span of time, I've put out 7 books when like somebody like Donald still can't even put out one, and he's like, it's been a learning experience, and I'm like, What did you learn? How to just sit there and be lazy and not put out a book and collect money?
Yeah, how many was he working on at once? Was it like three or something?
Something like that, and they were, and all his books have been books that people bought for the other people's names. Like Brutus was off
Mhm.
my name, Vestige was War Campaign's name, and then Cash Grab,
Oh,
of course, was because
that's
of
right.
Cecil, and then from all the drama with Nurkish and Tim Lim
Yeah,
leaving that book.
I mean, not manufactured on Nurkish or Tim Lim's side, of course, but it was like manufactured against them, which is really kind of
Right, right. So
that's like
it's
the
like a
whole
whole like back it to own like Nurkish thing.
And then not even being able to get the book out. It's like, yeah, how much more can you screw up?
I've
Yeah.
I've been like I was talking with Brian Ball the other day. He does the Rags book,
Yeah, those
Yeah.
ones definitely get out too.
and I was trying to because I was thinking, for my next book, do I? Because I hate crowdfunding, and I was thinking, do I do like a Patreon model like they do?
hmm
Because I know that I can produce. My biggest problem I was having was the price point and how fast I could get the book out. So I was like telling people I can get a 40-page comic to you, fully penciled, inked, and lettered and colored in 3 months. And I put out it would be $8 a month. Would you do it? And I was actually surprised by the amount of people that said yes, but also the amount of people that said no. And the reason I was shocked by the amount of people who said no was because I was like, I don't see why it was a lot of people were saying like $8 is a month, $8 a month is a lot. But my counter argument was, well, hey, look at all these books that you guys are backing right now. They're 50 pages. They're $25 plus $10 in shipping, so essentially $35 for a 50-page book, and then you have to wait 8 to 9 months for the book. You give me $8 a month, $24 every 3 months, and I'm going to give you a 40-page book, and every 3 months you're going to get a book. So I thought that
Um,
was so instead of getting a book a year from a creator, you're gonna get um four books a year, and I was actually shocked how many people were like,
well, I
eh.
mean, people have their different preferences. I think most people don't really care about that stuff, and they're just like, just sell it to me when it's done. They don't care about the, giving us like $8 a month thing,
That's
and
true.
it's really tough. Whichever platform you want to go with, because like I would love to put everything like just on Amazon, even the comics, but then the thing is like when people could get it whenever, they tend to just pass on it, and maybe they'll get it next year, and
Yeah,
then
it
so it's
loses the
like,
hype.
and plus it's like like for someone like me, like I'm not an artist, so and I know you are, Tyler, so you could draw your own books, but then it's like me, like if I put all this money into a comic and then I put it on Amazon, it's like, okay, I might make $15 this month,
Yeah.
and it's like I get none of the costs back, but then it's like when you put it on Indiegogo or Kickstarter, it's like, wow, I need to have 200 or more customers now, like in 30 days or 60 days or however long your campaign is up. So that's like the tough part, is like, do I want to try and force everyone to buy it now, or am I cool with them spreading it out?
Yeah. I realized, yeah, I spent like 4 days like mulling over my conversation with Brian, and ultimately, what I think I've come down to is the fact that I don't think that I can. I mean, yeah, I don't think I could do the whole Patreon model. One, because of the whole you have to, you want people, hey, $8 a month. But two, it gets really pricey, and you want to build hype on the books. Plus, let's say something shitty happens in that month. It's
Mhm.
like you're now way behind. You're now behind. You can't deliver. Now people are going to be like, "Hey, I was back. I back
well I
$8 a month.
well
Where's my book?"
as far as Patreon, I think it's probably best, instead of guaranteeing like a book every however long for the Patreon backers. I think it's better for if you do a couple things, like if you give them like credits in a book, like a special thanks, or if you are only showing them just like behind the scenes stuff, and maybe you might do some giveaways or things with them. Right now, I just post like behind the scenes stuff on my books. Like I've posted like multiple drafts of a book so they could see the process behind it. I post, I don't know, I just post different sections of books that I'm working on, and I just show people the behind the scenes, and that's what I do for it. And because when you try to get that goal, I mean, it's very tough, because if you're like, if you need, I don't know, let's say you need like, I don't know what a good number is, but if you want like 20 backers a month at whatever level to make it possible to do that book, that's, I don't know, it's just very tough to bring in those backers, and to get them, to keep giving you that $5 a month or
You
whatever it
can't
is. It's,
guarantee that they'll stay either.
yeah, like I
Yeah,
had a $5 backer, and he just randomly just left one day. I was like, you
Mhm.
gotta
you're
be
like,
kidding me.
bye. Well, it's like Brian and his team. They're at right now. I think are almost like 5,000 a month.
That's incredible.
Yeah, 5,000 a
Mhm.
month, for their book Rags. And I mean, I've only lost one Patreon member, in the year I've done it. In fact, I have right now one Patreon guy. My highest tier is $5, and he pledged for $30 a month. $30 a month.
Oh man, my highest tier I have is 20, but the highest anybody's backed me for is just 5, which I'm happy with. But I would love a
Yeah.
$30
Yeah,
one.
exactly. Super happy, but like the only thing I can give them right now is that they're just their names listed in the books,
Mhm.
in the future as executive producers, but also just giving them exclusive content. Like I'm trying to right now do an exclusive comic for them, but it's so time consuming.
I always thought that Patreon sort of makes more sense as a tip jar than like a content
Yeah.
delivery service. Um, I mean, having the tiers and stuff, that definitely works. Having like rewards and all that kind of thing. That's good for an incentive. But aside from that, I always figured people should sort of be going in expecting just to be, helping to support the creator or
Mm.
whoever with
Yeah,
whatever
that's really
money.
how I go about backing people, is I just see it as just like, I'm just helping this dude. I don't really care
Mhm.
if I get anything out of it or not. Like,
Yeah, that's when I
uh,
donate. I'm just like, here, I'll throw them $1 just to exist. Basically, that's all I donate to Patreon. And the thing
like
is, the actual product. If I want to pay them for that, then they put out something and I buy it, and that's in a way that's like it's an ancient era. Like that's going away. That's what's going away is actually buying like a tangible product. It's more about continuous support of the person who makes the product now.
yeah. I'm gonna read a couple of these chats right here. We got let's see, Luster Dog X is I read is it Villains of the Snow Sea?
Yeah.
He says lots of fantasy action. The artist did an excellent job, and we get just enough info about the world to be curious about the next chapters. Good job. That's really awesome to hear. And for anybody in here that doesn't know, Thomas here is one of the only good comic book writers. There's only like I almost said 10. I almost said there's like 10 good comic book writers, but that's kind of pushing it.
Yeah, it's hard to even name 10 anymore because you would have to go through. I mean, you would have to go to other countries at that point and be like, well, there's the guy who writes One Punch Man. He's pretty good. Yes.
Right. At least as far as like Americans, I'm willing to say there's 6 probably.
Yeah, it seems to stop just short of 10 at best.
And I'm not even saying like just now. I'm talking about in like the history of comics.
Yeah, all comics ever. I mean, it's sad because I don't even want to gloat about that kind of thing, but it's really such a low bar. But the thing is that as much as my writing and stuff, my writing almost looks sparse in the new comic Villains of the Snow Sea because there's not a lot said, but the stuff that happens is like beat by beat in the script every panel. And that's the thing is that the artist, I'm not sure if I should be naming the artist. Well, his credits on the book are Arc Soleil, and he's fantastic, and he's just somebody who was kind of he showed up and was watching our videos and was just liking our videos, and apparently he had a long history of doing his own comics and stuff just sort of for himself, and he stopped for a while because the whole comics community, like even aside from Comicsgate, was just such a toxic waste dump, just a horrific pit of just freaky weirdos. Even I think like I've heard people who post their webcomic to, I forgot if it was Webtoon or what, but it's like really overrun with South Koreans, and if you're not South Korean, they just start yelling at you for not being South Korean enough. And like even if you have a popular webcomic on the site or something, they'll just run you off because they're just mad at you not being South Korean. And kind of goes to show there's all sorts of different communities that in comics that are just terrible.
Furious,
But Comicsgate probably is still the worst.
Furious TV says they are 24 pages, mostly in CG for $25.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you don't even get it on time. Is like the sad part. Like you're paying like these premium dollars for a comic that's like we'll see it in 2 years.
Yeah, but like even if it comes out, even if it's like 50 pages, it's usually 50 pages of just just slop. Like the writer didn't really care about writing a good story throughout those 50 pages. Like nothing happens.
Right. We'll probably get false flagged for this, but that awful Liam Gray comic, I can't remember the name of it. Something like, I don't know. The title might as well be like "Wannabe Alien" or something. It's like every comic writer ever, when they're like, "This is my 200-page magnum opus," it's always them trying to do Alien. Like it's always got some weird like robotic like, here's my robotic like monster thing. It's like some robotic suit thing, and it's like, and then it's like, here's a bunch of like characters on like a ship, and then it's like, I've got like this dark past like for the main character. Like,
it's a very industrial ship. It's huge, of course,
the past is always like this is the main character's past. It's like, I ended up saving everybody's life, but I didn't do it by the book.
I saved all those puppies' lives, but I had to cure Parvo to do it. So that he cured Parvo. It's like, what?
I'm sorry, that makes me laugh every time.
because a lot of people didn't like. A lot of people aren't even aware of just the hilarity of that. People are still like clueless about how completely ridiculous the entire movement is, and we are like the cool kids who are in the know. We're so much higher above everyone else because we know all the cool, funny stuff. Although all those other nerds are like, you know, just that stuff.
Yeah. Um, so there are people talking about like the false flaggetry in the chat. Is there any update on that you want to talk about? Like what's going on with your channel?
The channel's basically in a holding pattern. I think Liam is trying to just hold off on doing anything because he knows if he like responds to the claim, then something will have to happen, and our channel might just get unlocked. So he's just going to try and sit it out and just make it so we can't upload to our channel anymore. But the last videos we have pretty much say it all.
Oh, he is so trash.
It's a good excuse to take a big vacation on making videos and to go on other people's streams and plug our new comics, which is the only thing I really want to focus on is the fact that we're actually putting out comics, especially worthwhile ones that tell an interesting original story for a change. Whereas these people really can't tell any original story. Yeah, again, they're just retelling Aliens or some anime they really liked,
Right.
some crap.
Right. It's all like it's all alien, or it's all got to be like some like doomsday like post-apocalyptic thing. Like if it's not Alien, it's always them trying to be like, I don't know, trying to be like Mad Max or something.
It's actually like that. Not to even praise Patton Oswalt too much, but there's that book he wrote was called like Zombie Spaceship Alien Wasteland or something, because he said most people's first books, it's either one of those four things or a combination. And it's like, yeah, that's pretty true, because I mean, even I always wanted to write some kind of like post-apocalypse or a wasteland kind of story too.
I mean, I have one post-apocalyptic story, I guess, but I still found a way for it not to be trash.
Mhm.
I'm just offended because the book I just funded is post-apocalyptic. So
I'm sorry,
and I didn't
Tyler.
realize it up until you guys were just saying. I'm like, yeah, I'm with these guys.
Tyler
Those are
gets
really
a
trash
pass.
books. Oh wait,
He-
humanity has ended in my book. That I just
Tyler gets a pass because I don't know, he's on this stream, I guess, and I haven't read it, so I can't say it's trash. I can't say it's trash. I haven't read it.
I mean, the premise is only worn. It doesn't inherently mean that the story is going to be bad. It's just something that's been done. It's not until you do something just really boring and plain. Like I've read some post-apocalypse stories that just don't even really have a story to them, or just. I actually read DM Arini's. Well, I didn't read it. I skimmed through most of it, but DM Arini's his novel, which was like a Fallout fanfic, and it was just like there's no story to it. It's like, oh, there's a bad guy. Let's go on this town. We're gonna kill him, and then they do that, and it's like, okay, in the next town, there's another bad guy. We should shoot him, and then they do that, and then the
Yeah,
book ends. And it's like,
yeah.
okay,
That's
what are
honestly
the themes of this?
like, I'm sorry, Tyler, but but like what he just said right there is like why I stay away from most like post-apocalyptic because
Yeah,
books it always ends up being like the world is like a desert now, and like here's a guy with a
oh
spear, and like
oh gotcha. Yeah, no, mine wasn't like that. Thank goodness.
the Lone Wanderer. Someone wants to do. Basically, it's a way of doing a western, but it's cool.
right, and
Yeah.
then it's like this guy that he like like he kills squirrels with a spear, and he's like in the middle of like the desert. It's like
Blows the heads
post-apocalyptic,
off
and then
rabbits, and he's
yeah, and then like
so
he's like,
cool.
I don't care about anybody, just myself. And then like some little kid like needs his help, and he's like, I'm not gonna help you. But then he like saves the little kid.
Okay, geez, spoil my entire book, Nasser. Like the back
Is that really it?
No, that's I'm totally joking. That's
Okay, good.
nowhere
Or else I
that's
would have
nowhere
kicked
near
you.
close.
If that was your book, I actually never would have talked to you again.
I get kicked off. I get kicked off the stream immediately.
Banned from streams forever.
That's funny that you say that. That like so either it's alien or it's post-apocalyptic or zombies. And I think when you start like writing, like you have to first you first tell the stories that you want, that you admired, that made you want to tell the story, and you put your own spin on it, which is why you'll see these people putting out their first book, and they're like, okay, this isn't. I can see where your influences were, which is totally fine. And I think as you though grow as a creator, you need to at some point be like, okay, what am I doing differently? And I do feel like my first book was. My first 3-volume book was Demons, and it was a supernatural, and you could tell if you read it, you go, okay, you could see the influences I put in there. And then the next book was Entity, and you could see the influences. And I'm hoping that the book I put out next year, which is called Culinary Heroes Earth Force, that you're just like, oh, this is just a fun book. Tyler's really being as creative as he possibly can. But I do think that when people put out their first book, they're like, hey, I have this. I was inspired by Alien. I want to do my own take on it. So here you go. My biggest problem, Nasser, and this sounds just really petty and jealous, but I'm going to sound really petty and jealous just because I'm on your stream. Is I just get really frustrated when I work so freaking hard, and then I don't get like these massive numbers, and then I deliver on time, and then I just keep putting out work, and then people are still like, yeah, I'd rather just back this other person's book because it's made 100,000, and I'm like, well, you'll get your comic in a month if you back mine. They go, nah, like I don't want to do that, and I'm like, right. What do I have to do to compete?
That just proves that most people are actually retarded.
You don't want, the thing is, you don't really want them, but you do want their money because you know it'd be better in your pocket. It's kind of like the Wolf of Wall Street. You really start to understand the reasoning behind, what was it, Jordan Peele? No. Yeah, he was. It's funny. He asks the other broker, like his mentor one, and it was like, but if you make money for yourself and the customer, it's beneficial for both of us, right? And he goes, nope. And that's it. That's the entire lesson. Lesson learned. Nope. But the thing, the way he explains it for himself is like, it's better that their money is in our pockets than in their own.
Yeah.
And once you start to look at a lot of the audience for comic books, I was actually just thinking earlier, like about Richard C. Meyer, like how his channel plateaued and his audience viewership just fell off. It's like, gee, I wonder why that happened. Maybe because he was telling people while he was suing Mark Waid to buy Mark Waid's books.
Yeah. Right, and plus his book sucking didn't help either.
Yeah, no, they're terrible. They're terrible books, but he was still trying to recommend them. Not just be like, well, yeah, no, his own book and Mark Waid's books, both. They're really just all crap. And it's like, why am I paying attention to a guy who's making crappy comics and then telling me to buy other crappy comics by a person that he's even saying is a terrible creator and he shouldn't be part of the industry, but also buy his books anyways. It's like, why am I listening to this just sheer idiocy at this point? How hard is it to just find? Eventually a lot of people stop. That's the thing. Nobody even talks about that, but he had a strong channel and it just died. And the reason it died is because people figured him out.
Bro, everybody thought like, oh, Zach, he's such a genius. He must be like the smartest comic guy ever. But like anybody could have made fun of America Chavez. Like it's like,
but
there was such trash
but
books.
People weren't though.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
He was really saying nothing new, though. He legitimately, like, I was looking at some of his videos back when I subscribed to him, like, a couple of years ago, and it's like, that was a post we made. That was a post we made. But those were all posts that we made like years before he ever had a channel. And it's like, yeah, I really don't like it because it's just kind of like us.
Yeah, but one thing I will say is he was able to capture it probably a little better. I'm like I don't know you guys' channel, but I do agree. Like he has plateaued. His subscriber count has not grown. His books aren't growing. They've kind of like he's kind of hit his out. Like if there's only 100,000 people who are in the outrage market, he's found every single one of them.
That was a while ago too. I mean, his channel plateaued at the beginning of this year. I know he still gets views, but they all still technically get views. But it's not like, the people who really are in the know. It's the sheeple. He doesn't have staying power. That's the thing is he has nothing really to say at all to begin with, except that I don't like comics.
It's he wants better comics. The pack led.
Yeah, the pack
led argument.
we want better. Our ship is the Mondor. And it was, yeah, Tyler had to go, I guess.
I guess so, or maybe his internet kicked out or something. I don't know.
He was saying, gotta bounce. Okay.
Oh, I didn't even hear him.
It was in the private chat, actually.
Oh, okay. Now I see that. Hervoge is asking for a wrench so he could shill some projects, but Hervoge, I don't know why this is. I don't see you when I open up YouTube. I only see you in StreamYard. I know I don't have you blocked or anything, but I just don't see you. So I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to give you a wrench. I just don't see you. Oh man, Fly Fox Pro says Zach is likable. SWC is not. Totally disagree with you there.
Well, no, I think he has a point. I mean, it's not very likable, to tell the truth. People want to hear a comforting lie. That's always going to be
It's easier to believe lies.
And let's also face it, people love to think of themselves as superior to the person who is talking to them, and it's easy to feel superior to Richard. He's a retard.
Yes. He's a retard, but also that it's mostly that it's the manufactured YouTuber thing. It's like, hey guys, I'm your friendly YouTuber. You like me, right? And the gullible trolls will always say, yeah, I like him. He's friendly, instead of the person who's like, I'm not going to lie to you. And the people, the gullible people.
Again, though, I mean, look,
doesn't tell me he likes me, I'm not going to like him. Then he's a piece of shit.
Look what happened to his entire YouTube career. I mean, he torpedoed it because nobody cared about his comics. All of it, and they didn't like his tastes.
The falseness of it is really sold by the whole "yeah boy Zach." That's not his name,
Right?
It's a stupid name.
Like I hate when I open
fake enough. It's manufactured enough to sell that fake idea of the cool, friendly guy who's your friend and that kind of bullshit. But then if you say that there's wavy paper on Cyberfrog, he'll threaten to sue you. Not really that friendly after all. Once you're smart enough to actually see through that bullshit. Most people just aren't, though. Most people are never going to be smart enough to see through it.
Right, and I hate when I open up a YouTube video and the guy's like, "Hey everybody, it's your pal," and like, like I cringe at that. That's exactly what I don't know why that gets subs. Like people must just be so dumb to sub.
Yeah, well, that's who's that guy? Philip DeFranco, for some reason, is massively popular on YouTube. I've never seen a single one of his videos, and nothing about him seems interesting. But yet he has like millions of subscribers or some shit. And it's like, I don't know.
I think I watched one of his videos like 10 years ago, and it was kind of boring.
And I think also the YouTube algorithm kind of points people in certain directions, especially if they don't get shadow banned immediately like we did.
Yeah, like we were shadow banned in 2015, and because we're too real around.
That's what happens when you're real.
Like I hate it because like on YouTube you got to do like those like stupid like clickbait thumbnails, and then you got to have like the clickbait title, and then you got to like
count out the things that he read in the webinar about how to have a successful YouTube channel. Make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed.
To subscribe, to hit the bell, to upvote.
He would count on his fingers in front of the camera during the show, counting on his fingers like a child.
Yeah, that was actually a really huge giveaway, that he was just memorizing a list. When you see him count on his fingers like a total idiot, the like, share, comment, subscribe, make sure you're still subscribed, and then he would have to go to his other hand.
Bro, why would he say like make sure you're still subscribed? Like how am I watching this if I'm unsubbed?
Yeah, I don't know, but that was one of the things people would say, oh, YouTube sometimes unsubscribes you. It's like, if you're that desperate to have people continue to subscribe for you, you kind of only care more about subscriptions than even getting your point across at some point. You're doing it because you see this more as a business, like this is going to be your job now, and that's all you care about. You clearly care more about that then
well, also the sad fact is
lose you subscribers,
especially nowadays, and this is why his war against digital makes the least sense. His entire success rests on digital. In other words, YouTube.
Right.
He got YouTube fame, and that's how.
Yeah, it's everyone knows they claim to have an aversion to like the digital market, and yet they can't seem to get away from that pesky YouTube. Turn off that
Right.
SDF.
They're not real followers because they're not following him around every day in real life.
Yeah.
Herboge says Zach's got a new campaign this week. Impossible Stars. How interesting of a name. Impossible Stars, a sci-fi book with Chuck Dixon as co-writer. I'm sure he's gonna do the thing where he can only compare it to the Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen.
But I mean, it's like, how far has Chuck Dixon fallen? But then again, when you're writing for Marvel or DC, that really doesn't mean anything. It never really has meant anything.
That is like the lowest tier of success. Like, hey, my book sold a bunch because I wrote Spider-Man. Like, I'd be more impressed if you were like, hey, I created this thing and it sold this many copies. Like, I'd be much more impressed if you were like, I created this thing instead of I wrote someone else's book that was already successful. Like,
Well, that's also the big problem with comic book medium is that you can't make a new Spider-Man. You can't make the next Spider-Man because Marvel's going to be like, why make the next Spider-Man? Well, we could just make Spider-Man some other diversity. And then the readers will say, why should I read this new hero that I don't know anything about when I can just keep reading Spider-Man? They don't really care. And then so along comes Miles Morales, and he becomes popular simply just by inertia. Yeah, it just exists. He's like, oh, he exists. Now they crank out enough comics, and they, no matter how unsuccessful they are, they don't ever stop making them. They had to make like a wildly innovative experimental movie just to give Miles Morales a personality at all. And something that wasn't in the comics. Yeah, as much as I don't know much about the character from the comics, I know he didn't have that personality from the movie. He wasn't like that. Yeah, in the comics, he was not like that. They made that for the movie, and it was just the same look, basically. And I think some of the powers, he has some kind of new power. The Venom. He has completely, he has the ability to electrocute in the movie. He can electrocute people and turn invisible. And it's like, at this point, does he need to be a spiderling at all? I mean, they try to rename him recently, like last year. They're like, now we're not going to call him Spider-Man anymore. We're going to call him like, like Invisible Spider or whatever. Like,
right, like Stupid Spider.
Yeah, and I just don't care.
Fly Fox Pro says Neil Gaiman is one of the only writers not defined by his work with comics.
And you know, Warren Ellis is kind of like a writer who definitely wants to be a Neil Gaiman type, but he kind of can't be because he's not really that good.
I mean, I don't know. I really liked Coraline when I was a kid. I read that book and it creeped me out. But then I tried to read Sandman, and how many? Let me see how many.
I liked Sandman, but I read it when I was 14.
Well, I have the first 4 volumes. I read them all, but like
I was 16, I think.
It was. It kind of lost me. Like it kept trying to be too pretentious. Like that's what I hate. Is like when like comic writers try to do this thing where they think they're like super geniuses, and so instead of just doing like a straightforward story, they've got to be like, no, there's like 40 different dimensions and like this world, that world, and like
well, it's a time shifting thing. Whoever the guy is, it's like every single other page or panel is like 13 minutes ago or something like that. It's like, what does this have to do with the story? That was Bendis, though. That's something else entirely. I mean, you have to give some credit to Sandman for, like, again, that was written around the 80s and stuff, and that was trying to be like, here's a comic that's not going to be, your traditional blah, blah.
That's true.
It worked well for back then. Yeah, the purpose of the story is not about the powers. That's one thing that a lot of people didn't learn in comics. They figured the entire comic book is about what cool powers they have. No,
right, like, he could punch hard. That's the whole story.
He can punch through a wall. What's the story about? It's about a guy who can punch through the wall. Yeah, but what's it about? Well, he could. I just told you.
Well, the hero punches the bad guy.
I told they turn into yes. Most people just turn into idiocracy at that point where they just say, "Shut up! I told you, shut up, Jay." They get up from their toilet Barcalounger and throw somebody out of the window. They stop watching Ow My Balls. Yes, the new episode of Ow My Balls.
But then also Sandman also had like a lot of like subplots and or not subplots, more like I guess spin-off stories like within the issues. So it'd be like you'd follow like the main dude's story for a little bit, and then it's like half an issue follows like 5 other people, and it just I don't know. It just kept going back and forth between
Well, who knows
like,
if that was the original Sandman story too, or if it was Sandman, 2006 or something.
no, I think it was
a
the original
remake.
one.
It's a reprint remake where we've completely rewritten all the dialogue. And it's like he came in to rewrite it's the new series of Sandman, and they didn't title it in any way that indicates that it's not the very first. So it's just called Sandman #1. Yeah, exactly. They renumber it as, again, that's all this comic book shit. It's just terrible. Things I don't want anything to do with. Meanwhile, where should I start reading JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? #1, right at the beginning. Where do you start reading Berserk? #1. Really, you should start reading it at volume 4, but you can just read it at volume 1. You don't have to, as opposed to where do you start reading X-Men, and it's just like, Charlie with all the notes and lines going across it while he's smoking.
Right.
You should
Right,
really
they've got
start at
the
the
whole
issue.
chart.
You should start at issue 371. Yeah, why? That was the Chris Claremont arc. That it was really good. Chris Claremont. That's interesting because for comics, he's a good writer, but you're really compared to anything else, and it's just like I read that the original Dark Phoenix saga from the early '80s. And it's like, meanwhile, at the Satan worshipping club, like, what is this? Why am I looking at this? I thought this was X-Men. And it's like the chick, she's just sitting around. She goes up, flies into the sun, drinks it, blasts an entire armada out of the sky, then flies down to her mom's house and sits on the couch and just like her mom harangues her. It's like, why don't you get a normal job? And blew up an entire alien armada. It's kind of great, but it's so weirdly random and tone deaf, and there are tons of dialogue, tiny text. When you read like some of the original comic stories compared to like the Marvel movie adaptation, especially from my perspective, I look at that and all I can think of is, why didn't the comic realize it needed to drop some of this stupid interdimensional gopher bullshit? Right. The interdimensional gophers, they're attacking again, but also we're going to have to send Wolverine on a mission to kill all the golfers. Yeah, if he kills all the golfers, they're going to lock him up. Well, they get in trouble. Well, you got in trouble. But the whole perpetual continuity too, where every single arc or every issue or all the what if stories too, picking up from another comic, or it's like we need to start fresh somewhere. 395 or something. Oh no, we fell through this portal on accident when my Kafluber malfunctioned and sent us into an alternate dimension. And it's like, already we're going to this. Okay, and then I'm just done. Like I'm usually done after like the first page of that kind of crap.
Oh man, Lester Dog X, I guess he sums up all of Zach's videos. He's like, bank robber robs bank, and good guy wearing cape punches bad guy. Good guy winning, bad guy woos. Yay.
That was literally the pitch for Comicsgate as a concept of those are the kinds of comics we need to bring back. Like everyone would be openly saying those are the only kinds of comics that should exist. Is put good guy grabs bank, punch bad guy. Look at this issue of Spider-Man. Spider-Man kicks this guy. It's so dope. It's like, yeah, that's not an argument. It's not an argument. Yeah, that's not a point of view for how to sell comics, especially nowadays. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If he kills all the golfers, they're gonna lock him up.
Fly Fox Pro says when Jim Shooter was in charge, you could start with any issue. But while that's true, I guess that's just another case of like, but you have to read it from this year to this year, and like it's just like it's way too complicated.
Back and forth. Check out this author, and also Jim Shooter was pretty underrated, like as an editor. The thing, that, but also Jim Shooter's entire idea was if the comic didn't sell above a certain threshold, it was canceled. And that basically kind of like Firefly. It's the same thing people will complain about when it comes to Firefly. It's like you canceled it after 13 episodes. And it's like, yeah, they shouldn't have. They should have given it a chance, and they fucked the schedule for that show all kinds of ways. They aired episodes in different orders when you're really kind of I mean, they were episodes still. Most of them were bottles, but they were following generally an actual continuity. And it was from that really weird era of TV where serialized TV was still just a completely confusing idea, and nobody would do it. It really wasn't until Lost, which wasn't even that good of a show, but Lost made people go back to serialized TV because it would be real appointment watching. You had to sit there and watch it.
It tends to be a lot more engaging if there's a reason to keep watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't even remember the last time like I sat down for like appointment watching. Like,
Well, now it's all
TV
about binge
sucks.
watching, of course.
Yeah, well, yeah,
That's true.
Cobra
But like,
Kai,
I don't even know.
Cobra Kai just got dumped on Netflix.
Mhm.
But I don't even know what the last like binge-worthy show I even watched was. Like, I don't know.
Well,
They-
Cannibal and Cobra Kai is really, really good, and the episodes are short too, so it's actually pretty easy to binge.
I don't know. There hasn't been a good TV show in a while. I don't know.
Yeah,
At least for me,
rare. It is rare. I mean, it was weird being like, when did Hannibal come out? And it was like 2014 or 2015 or something. It was like, holy crap! Or it was like more like 2013, wasn't it? It was like,
Yeah,
wow.
it was even older than that because I remember it was the big Tumblr fucking cringe.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
all the teen girls
But
squealing
that didn't
over a
last
serial
long.
killer.
That didn't last long because Hannibal was actually a bad. There was no getting around that Hannibal was actually a bad person.
The only other thing
Terrible.
that they could pimp out for the show on Tumblr was like, see, they're in love. Actually, it's a gay romance.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
that was their attempt. But the thing is that I think that's why they try to even call it. Oh, it's queer baiting. It's not going enough with the gay, and so they would be like, okay, let's just stalk and obsess over Supernatural instead. And of course, Supernatural fans losing their minds, sending death threats to the real life wives of the main actress.
oh man, Supernatural fans are so stupid.
Yeah,
You know,
they're
the
worst.
the first few seasons of that show are actually good, but then you could tell like
Yeah, I
when
always heard it was a decent show, actually.
the first 5 seasons are really good, and then as it goes on, like you could tell where it started to listen to like Tumblr and all that because they start referring to ships in the show. Like they find out like there's like they find out within the show they find out there's a Supernatural fandom. I don't even remember how that works, and there's people that ship us, and I was cringing whenever I saw
That's
that.
definitely. I mean, I think everyone
It's
now
like Rick and Morty.
Fire Island Players episode, but it just doesn't work all the time. It worked in Avatar, did not work anywhere else.
You know, my
Because in
favorite
Avatar,
episode.
they're crap. They're
my-
smashing that shit.
My favorite episode of Rick and Morty is the Morty's Mind Blowers. I think is what it's called. When Rick has to erase some of his memories.
Yeah, I remember that one was pretty good. I mean, I hate to even admit that I still like a good portion of Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
I
season one.
haven't seen season 4. I've only seen the first 3.
No, I'm
Yeah, I
not
don't
even
even
going
remember
to.
season 4 being out. I saw the first 3, and I still liked some of the third season, but it was you could tell drop off.
You could tell they had hired a bunch of women
Yes.
writers who all
They had
hired
women.
failed psychology degrees.
Yeah. I did not link to the Gumroad for the new. Where is
Well,
that?
then you should do that. You know what?
I should do that.
You should do that.
Villains of the Snow Sea. Is this still available? What was I just looking at? Oh yeah, okay. Now, yeah. Let me link because the digital version is very downsampled, so it's like a kind of low res, but it's it's $2 and you can read it like right this second. The physical version is nice and fresh, and I don't have it in my hands yet right now, but I did just get the physical version of literally #1 from Amazon, like the paperback physical print, and I got it, and it's just perfect because it's just like the proof copy that Amazon sent me last week, just without the cover was fixed and that kind of thing. And it's like, oh, okay, nice. And it looks good. It's nice and clean. It's a little smaller than a regular comic book because just going by 6x9 is easier than making some kind of custom. That's one thing about the paperback system in Amazon is trying to go with some kind of custom resolution or size for the book just turns it into a mess, turning on bleed, which you're supposed to do for comic books, but it turns it into a mess. and it's just like, oh god. So we just went with like, let's go with just straightforward 6x9, and the images will be non-bleed, so they'll actually be centered, so they're easier to measure. They'll just show up right, because everything has to go inside a border, and it has to be the right kind of border, but it also can't be too inside the border, like it can't be too small. And so you have to make a PDF and then look at it in the preview thing. And to do that, you have to upload it. And then the preview thing has to process what it's going to look like. And that can take like 5 minutes. And sometimes it can just freeze up and just get stuck. And so you come back after a half hour and it's like, it's still working on this. And you have to just cancel it and try it again. And, that took us days.
And while you were just saying all that, I just ordered my copy of literally #1 on Amazon.
The physical one.
Yep.
Yeah, let me link to that too, because I just got that. I guess I have the first ever copy. Here's one of the things I really
no longer an excuse for people to not buy it, because all those people who are like, oh, if it's not physical, you can't hold it in your hands. That means it's not real. It's not really a comic.
Yeah, and now it's like there's no excuse. But the one thing I really like about this, because the whole thing about crowdfunding is you have to get the money up front for shipping. And on Indiegogo, by the way, the money for shipping, that's added to the grand total of how much money you made.
And they still charge you the whatever the percentage is. I think it's like 8%.
Yeah, if you charge, and if you if you have international backers, like for a $25 book, they're paying $50 in shipping just to get it. With Amazon, when you have this Amazon system that I just linked to, you buy this on Amazon, it's going to be printed basically locally. Like if you're in Europe, they'll just print it in Europe from some European whoever. I don't know how. Although the last page, one thing I noticed, the version I got for the proof copies, a nice preview, and then the official version that I also got, both of them say on the last page where, like, the city that the copy was printed in. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I can tell, like, it's a few states away that way. And I want to see what the European version, the European print for literally #1 is going to look like. I already know somebody who lives in Europe who ordered a copy. He hasn't gotten his yet, and I'm not sure if they even have an estimate for when they can get it out for him, when they're going to print it. But it actually even says the date. The date on the copy I just got today says September 10th. So that means from printing it to shipping it was like 3 days. But
Amazon's doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
Amazon has no idea how to run a business, don't they know? You take the money, then you wait 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you ship it without the proper backing.
That's the best thing, is that in order to have the money to print a comic and to ship it, I would have to do a campaign. I would have to have managers. I would have to hire the print shop. I would have to make sure I'm printing enough copies to justify it. So I'd have to have at least a few hundred copies. I'm printing all up front with the money. Then, I have to make sure I'm taking the corrective money, amount of money to ship it. And, have a fulfillment company or some group of guys handle fulfillment where they'll mail it all out and print the shipping, the addresses, stamp those onto an envelope, that kind of stuff. Got to make sure I'm buying the right kind of.
Is there a way to ship it through Amazon so it gets shipped as junk mail?
No, there isn't. That's the thing. With Amazon, it's just like you click it, and Amazon handles. They handle the printing, they handle the fulfillment. It's not going to be the highest quality, like hardcover. Again, it's just paperback.
And it's already available. That's the thing, though, is literally #1 still already and has been available as digital download for $1 all this time.
Right.
But the thing is, with the print, they also handle the fulfillment, which includes if something goes wrong, you don't even have to deal with me. You just deal with Amazon. And Amazon, I'm quite sure, will definitely get and actually give you a replacement or a refund.
This would be taking away from the reason why Comicsgate would want to buy this over Amazon. Because the first thing they want to do is
Refund
immediately ask for a refund.
Yeah. They couldn't refund Brigade if it's just Amazon handling, because Amazon could eat all of that and I wouldn't notice. So again, when it comes to selling the comic on
It would
Amazon,
have absolutely
it
no
makes it
impact
so much
on
easier for me.
That's true, and they don't like doing this too. Like they always shot it down whenever I would bring it up, and I think part of it is because they, they're like, oh yeah, back my book a second time, and then people will just like donate money without even, because you know how Indiegogo has like the donate button, so it's like, hey guys, buy my book to own somebody, and then they'll get like $100 donations and stuff. It's just like another.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting thing. Is from what I was told is that Ethan Van Sciver backed Liam Gray's comic like 17 times, just over and over again. Not even buying more copies of the book, just backing the campaign, which means that Ethan Van Sciver officially on the books funded false flagging channel and deplatform other creators.
He's a doctor too. I mean,
yes,
that's the key thing. He said he's not in favor of that, so that's a lie.
Yeah, and that's worth pointing out. I just thought I would mention it because
did he actually say he backed the campaign 17 times?
I have no idea. I heard it from a few people who I won't name just because they would be immediately targeted. But well, there's not even any people left to target them anymore. I can't say they would be targeted by War Campaign or anything because.
But then again, we also know what it's like to be stalked by psychos.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, though, that's what I heard is that he just backed he backed Liam's campaign, and again, Liam Gray is obvious. He was obviously a psycho when he started pushing that whole, that he cured puppies of parvo, not just dogs, but puppies were like guaranteed death or permanent, even if they survive, permanently debilitating. But apparently Liam Gray cured them, and so Ethan Van Sciver paid him money to his campaign, and then with that money, Liam Gray falsely copyright struck a review of his comic on our channel to get our channel pulled down.
So Ethan funded the cure for parvo.
He funded the cure for parvo,
but it's still the world still doesn't have it.
Yeah, they're hoarding the cure for parvo.
Still a closely guarded secret.
That's the bad part. That's the
he discovered and invented a cure for parvo, and he's keeping it to himself.
Yeah, that's not good. I don't approve of that.
Oh man. But yeah, as far as like the what we were saying with selling on Amazon instead of a crowdfund, I really prefer selling on Amazon. It's a really cool thing for everybody on the planet to be able to read it instantly.
Well, let's face it, nobody wants to do a crowdfund unless they think they're going to get an insane ream of money. Because
then they want to use it. You want to use that number to brag about, like, this is how much money I got for my comic when, like, the comic didn't come out. People don't have it. Like, right. If you got any money for a comic and the people don't have the comic, you are, until they get the comic, you are a fraud.
A real artist, a real creator doesn't want to do that anyway. You want to go through, not necessarily Amazon, but you want sales. You want actual sales.
Any way you could do it. I've seen other people on other sites, like there was one, was it indieplanet.com or something?
Indie Planet. There's also Lulu is another print
on
demand.
Lulu, I've heard of that one. And
Ingram Spark.
What was it? What was the other one that was Ingram Spark or something?
Yeah, a lot of people use Ingram.
There was New Concord too.
Ingram uses the same. Ingram uses the same printers that Amazon uses, but they offer a few different things. But they also have different expenses. Like if you want to update your manuscript with Ingram, then they charge you like $50 or something. But on Amazon, you can do it for free.
Because, again, I had to update my manuscript for these comics about like 100 times. Mainly for literally number one, because the artist was doing it, and we were just it was like going back and forth of like, he would upload it, and then I would see it would be like zoomed onto the lower left corner. And it's like, I have no idea why it's doing this. And we would just upload different versions until we were starting to figure it out. And we figured out a lot of stuff. And then with Villains of the Snow Sea, Arxalay had known a lot of the what was going on, because I documented it on a Discord channel specifically for King Wolf Comics. And so we were kind of all seeing the process because, we're all going to need to learn this in the future. So he knew most of it, and like I think he had it nailed in like 2 or 3 PDFs. I was like, oh, that was a lot easier.
Okay, so Liam said it himself on Arcada Stream. So it's Liam who is the one making the claim that EVS backed his 17 most expensive tiers. So if you want to know who to blame for this outrageous claim, it's Liam himself.
Oh, man. Ethan only backed me once.
A literal paper trail. Yeah, it's weird. Ethan Vance, you've actually delivered on your comics many times before and books, and Ethan's never supported you or backed you. But Liam Gray, who is obviously mentally ill and is a false flagger who, tries to deplatform other creators, other comic creators who are more prolific and better, more skilled than he is. Ethan Van Sciver directly funded the deplatforming of other creators now. Well, unless he asks for a refund, if he gets a refund from Liam,
17 refunds.
He is officially funding
17 refunds. Oh boy,
I think everybody from that campaign needs a refund, though. It's probably not going to come out.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't he like spend all the money or something? Like I forgot. I think you guys mentioned this, like something about him, like he spent the money. He's like, I needed to design a mailer or something. Like he needed to design the envelope.
It was something goofy like that. Yeah, I don't even. It's such a stupid thing to say that I don't even know what it was, but it was something along the lines of like he had to invent a new form of cardboard box or some shit to mail things out from Australia. And it's like, no, you don't.
Have you noticed?
You don't.
Have you noticed how every like CG excuse is dumber and dumber? Like Donald is like,
Donald's like hurricane wind. This comic was tested against hurricane winds.
It's funny because he's like, because also don't forget when Donald said that, he's like, so there's like block away, there's like some what did he call it? He's like, there's some center or something. I forgot what he called it. He's like, there's some like place like a block away from my house. We have like a similar address, and my mail goes there all the time, but I didn't think to check there, and they left like just 2,000 books sitting out there. Like no one that works there said anything, and so like then
and they do that all the time, and yet he never
childish.
Right. They do it all the time, but he didn't go check.
The shipping, the number, the tracking number that would say your order has arrived, go pick it up. It's in front of your house right now. Check the tracking number. He didn't do that. He didn't look at the place that they send it to all the time, allegedly, which I don't believe. I'm sure.
Right, I don't believe it.
None of it's
But then he said it said delivered, and I contacted the printer that's in another state, but they didn't know where it was either.
Yeah,
like, dude, and who's leaving?
The tracking number would tell it, and everything is sent with a track. If you send like a greeting card in the mail,
it's the kind of lie a 5-year-old would tell because they don't know anything about tracking numbers or how this system usually works.
The only way you don't get a tracking number is if you put it in your mailbox with a couple stamps on the front. Then there's no tracking number. But anything that gets taken through the post office, especially a box, if it's a box, it's got to go to the post office.
And enough boxes to hold 2,000 comics. Like who's leaving that many boxes out? Who's leaving 2,000 books out in front of a place without checking? I mean, like without being like, is this the right place? Because I've ordered thousands of comic books for my 2 crowdfunds, and every single time, or well, I shouldn't say every single, both times, I guess. Both times when the books came, the guy was always like, is this the right place? And I said, yes, these are all my books. So I'm sure this guy did not just pull up to this address like, well, I'm just going to assume all 20 packages go here. Like, I'm sure he must have, if he left it there, he would have gone down like, is this the right place? And the people
who received that, whatever place received them would be like, I guess these are ours now,
Right, and then
walk out to the curb
that
and be
place,
like, yeah, just drop them here. Who cares?
And like that place just saw like all those like boxes, like 20 boxes outside, and they were just like, we're just gonna leave these here. And then what a coincidence! It rained, and like they just got ruined.
Just to like, it's like such a compound lie. Like all you needed was the first lie, or at least the last lie. Just say it showed up here, but it rained on them. First of all,
UPS
a lie too.
If UPS or FedEx ever delivers any package to our house from Amazon, and they think it's going to rain, it gets wrapped in plastic. They put it in a bag or something. Like if it's a box with no plastic lining or anything and it rains on it, it wouldn't necessarily even destroy all the books. You could, and if it did, if it destroyed most of them, he would still be shipping and sending out the ones he did have that were in good condition. But he didn't because they didn't exist. The books did not exist. They most likely weren't even finished.
And there's also the fact that when he was like, so now I'm going to go with China like I always should have. Well, why should he have like he? Oh, I don't know if you heard that motorcycle just went by really loud. I don't know if my mic picked it up, but
it wasn't actually that loud. But I thought I heard something.
Yeah, there was something. Well, anyways, but what was I saying again when he said
the rain and stuff and just all that crap.
But then after that, when he's like, oh well, I should have gone with I'm going to go with China now, like I always should have.
Oh yeah.
Well, why? Do books from China are they waterproof? Like they're just all waterproof over there?
Why aren't you supporting an American business anyways? China it makes no difference. Actually, if anything, being from China does make it worse. Yeah, it's worse. Right. It'll be worse. It'll be a worse product. Doesn't matter.
And then he said he's like, I'm gonna quarantine these, and then the first thing he did was he opened the box and he's posting pictures on Twitter.
The opposite of quarantine. He doesn't know what he thinks quarantine means when you rip something open. A couple months ago too, and the books still aren't out to people.
Yes, and he keeps like he'll post updates. He's like, I'm gonna ship them out in 2 weeks, so update your addresses. I'm like, shouldn't you have been saying update your addresses when you ordered them?
Yeah. It's weird. It's also hilariously pathetic with Comicsgate. Every time they release a comic, they have to recontact everyone and be like, by the way, some of you have probably moved or died, so please give us your new address because you're in another house. You may have been killed by COVID or during the riots. It came out. I know it was 2 years ago. It's a Luster Dog X, though, you're saying.
And
I thought it was Micah Curtis, who had his book supposedly ruined by rain, but he and Liam are like Yellow Umbrella, same person, same account. All of them at this point. Yellow Umbrella is now like 10 people. It's all just swirl. They all just swirl together. Their personality is kind of like Sid 6.7. Yes, the battle raging inside him must.
The latest Brutus update. Donald says, hey, everything's like 99% packaged up, and I'm going to make one single trip to the post office. So you guys have 2 weeks to update your addresses, which sounds really outrageous. If it's all packaged up, why does he need another 2 weeks? It doesn't take that long for everyone to update their addresses. Like, they don't have to, they don't have to go through some long process. But if he's got everything packaged up and he's like, yeah, I'm going to do this all in one trip, shouldn't he know by now the split that we're going to have? He already spent $3,500 on himself from this campaign money that I know of. And I've shown proof of that. I've shown the messages. He's given a breakdown of everything. He borrowed $1,000 one time and said, I'm going to launch a campaign for an art book, and then I'll pay us back from that campaign money. And then he never launched that campaign. He took $1,000, said he was going to launch another campaign for an art book.
$1,000
from the campaign money. He's like, hey, is it fine if I use $1,000 from the campaign money? And so he used that $1,000
in the campaign. After all, you wouldn't miss $1,000. So how about you wouldn't miss all of it? I'm sure he considers that to be. I'm sure if you gave your go ahead for that, I'm sure what he thinks that means is like, oh, he's okay if I just take his $1,000 from his side. I'm going to use $1,000 that I'm supposed to owe him.
So he took
and he said it's okay.
He took that $1,000. Then there was like $2,500. If you guys saw the screenshot out, that I was sharing around. He's like, yeah, I bought a new computer, a new mic, a new chair, and it was like $2,500. So he's $3,500 so far.
Now,
$3,500 so far he spent on himself. I guarantee you he's not going to tell me I'm getting anything close to that. You should never
be spending any of that money on anything until all of your books are in the hands of your He does not give a shit. He does not give a shit about any of the customers, or the business, or the art, any of it. Ethan bought a new house, and that really nice guy, Richard C. Meyer, even bragged that Ethan spent the backing money on a house before even finishing the book. Really nice guy, that Richard C. Meyer, isn't he? But
the Liam talked about buying a car with money that he collected to cure puppies of parvo. A lot of that is so questionable, and some people got like furious in defense. I saw the puppies; they're real, and it's like that doesn't mean like any.
It's like those pictures of people when white women post pictures of their pit bulls with a bib on, and it's like this beautiful baby would never it would never maul an entire family to death. And it's like just because it's got a bib and a flower crown on doesn't mean it's not a pit bull.
Yeah. By the way, one of the a comment by Furious TV says they bet on the hope of a lot of them forgot or don't show up or he has even died in between.
Yeah.
Comicsgate definitely salivates and celebrates every time one of their backers dies. So that's one less person they have to even give a refund to. Comicsgate loves it when their backers drop dead in the wait for their dumb comics to come out. They're like, yes, another one died.
They hate people. They hate people who stay alive. It's not just that they love it when they die. They hate people who don't die. That's how much worse it is.
Especially with Ethan, because there's so many stories, not just stories, but people have actually witnessed Ethan Van Sciver have like screaming meltdown, like furious baby bitch tantrums.
We preserved some of that on our channel, which is still up, by the way,
and we are responsible for some of his meltdown.
We caused a whole bunch of that, but we actually, as much as I love to take credit for all of that, the simple fact is that a lot of people were on his Patreon or Indiegogo in the comments being like, where the hell's the comic? I will never trust crowdfunding ever again.
And same for Mitch. Well, and Mitch also had a meltdown. But
I finally got my refund from Mitch. It's the only campaign I've ever refunded.
I'm almost surprised he even does it. But Ethan is the guy who gets screamingly angry when backers don't die, because then he has to fulfill books for them. He's so mad when
he has just no desire to do that. He's clearly never going to do it.
Reed Troutman says, "Are the puppies not real?"
I have no clue. I don't watch any of his fucking.
What does it matter? Why does that even matter?
Why does it matter?
I was going to say that. Like, I'm not sure why this is a question.
These guys are
it's not a question. This is an irrelevant question. Erase it.
Irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. It's so irrelevant. It should have been wrapped up in cellophane.
But I mean, as far as the puppies being real, it's like, if they're real, he didn't cure them of parvo. If they're not real, he also didn't cure them of parvo. Either way, he didn't cure them of parvo, but he says that he does. So, the big picture, that's what me and my brother has always been about more than anyone else, is the big picture. What does this, what is the forest? Forget those dumb gay trees. What about this forest? Meanwhile, everyone else is staring at this tree, being like, this is bullshit. I don't even see a forest. This is booch.
Staring at their feet.
And I'm not saying that about the question about the puppies, by the way, because it's irrelevant to me. It's irrelevant to me about the puppies, but I think that's in a way worth asking.
The guy was in a doxing ring. You really can't trust a single word from it.
You can't really trust a single
router. He's like claiming
people.
How many routers does he say he's burned through now because hackers are trying to attack his router?
It was 100, but
it's a literal army. It's an army of routers that this guy has sacrificed for the war for comics against the dreaded corruptors.
But then also his laptop, they got through, they killed 5 of his routers and then finally broke through the routers to kill his laptop,
to burn out his laptop or whatever.
Laptops tend to just die anyways, by the way. And apparently, by the way, the problem with the laptop was the screen died. The laptop itself probably wasn't dead.
It's so funny. It's so funny the one clip you guys had posted where he's like, I don't know, what is he walking around like a mall or an airport or something?
Oh yeah,
And
that
he's
was
like,
one that he struck for defamation. It was literally just his
Yeah,
video of
we
him
mirrored
for
we
defamation.
mirrored his own video, and then he struck our channel because we had posted it, and
Yeah.
he said it was defamation.
Yeah.
So he defamed himself,
Yes.
and he doesn't like that we revealed it.
Yeah,
And
and he was,
blames
he
us.
was wandering around the mall saying that he was getting secret. He actually said James Bond type secret messages in DMs. And
oh man,
I
you know,
forgot if it was,
I wonder.
show or somebody put like the James Bond theme behind him saying that, and it was really funny. They played that on the shit show Supreme with Dick and Glenn. That's on YouTube.
I wonder why he never tried to strike my channel when I did that video where I showed a little clip of his stream where he was lying about me.
Well, it's easier to go
all he-
after us. It's easier to go after me and my brother. If he went after you, people would be like, okay, like they would suddenly consider deplatforming real. With us, they don't consider it to be deplatforming. They still have like ways to rationalize it.
They're wrong.
It was real in their mind.
Debatable. I think that's
They're like,
debatable.
oh, those
Like,
guys are good.
It's actually not debatable. It's deplatforming. The
well,
end.
no, I meant like that they would care if it happened to me, because like if you're talking about like,
well, the thing is that the reasoning would be for them would be so much harder to defend. They would have so much harder defending themselves, because even Ethan might be like, hey man, that's not cool. With us, he despises us and fears us. With you, he's still trying to do that fake, like, hey, I want to make up with Nasser.
That's the thing is, my brother just finished a comic. EVS actually congratulated Doug, who he's called like a traitor and a homophobe, basically just everything. Doug TenNapel is like the worst
betrayer of the
world.
He's
He's like, oh, congratulations, Doug, on all the money you made.
Betrayed an entire. He like people are legitimately convinced that Doug TenNapel betrayed every customer of the entire comic books medium over nothing. Nothing actually
Because
happened.
Ethan said so.
you know what was funny about that was when you showed a screenshot of your I think your Discord or something, where you were like, now what's gonna happen is Ethan's gonna make some post like congratulating Doug, and
then he did it
the next day, the very next day.
we called that, like, I think that was my brother who pointed out, Ethan's gonna congratulate Doug tomorrow, and sure enough, he did.
Insincerely congratulate Doug.
Obviously insincerely, because then I think like a day later he's like, Doug's a piece of shit.
Doug is a traitor.
And in private, he fucking by screaming at people, being like, you shouldn't even be getting this.
Cold fist punching his wife, trashing his entire house.
You can tell, like, a lot of people who have things on their walls sometimes, if they're strategic, it's to cover up a hole in the drywall where they punched it with their impotent rage, which I appreciate. I like that.
But that's the thing is, it's like, okay, so he's going to congratulate Doug TenNapel for a bunch of money that Doug made. Is he going to congratulate like the completed project of, say, a smaller time independent creator?
Yeah, is it about like the people who create, or is it just about like the money? Does all he care about
money and fame, or not even money? Not even money. It's about fame.
Yes,
and he's hoping
does he care about
fame will
like
lead to money, but
is
he wants fame more than anything.
I think that's the thing, is that that's a very womany thing to do, is to care about status, and it seems to be the case with not just Ethan, but not just Comicsgate, but most people just on YouTube. That's all they care about, is like celebrity status and shit of YouTubers, and it's really kind of gay and pathetic. Gay, and it's gay as a slur. I'm saying that as a slur.
The gay G slur.
The gay G slur.
Furious TV says yes, and also with the Liam review, you said that Liam was ultimately going to respond to this in his way and f up completely, fall into the trap by anger, and look what happened.
Yes, we actually warned him. We were trying to warn him about the trap.
And not even a subtle suggestion either. It was blatant. We said, you're falling into the trap. Don't fall into the trap.
Yeah,
then he fell into
we
a
weren't
trap.
dropping hints. We were not dropping hints. We were like, you are going to walk into an easy trap that will possibly destroy your career and reputation forever. And then Liam Gray did exactly that.
And more so than being a doxer, part of a doxing ring, engaging in flaggatry with other people, and otherwise just being a complete retard. This will do it.
Yeah,
and it's going to.
it's funny. The being retarded isn't what did it. Because it's about the optics of it, and nobody likes the optics of somebody who false flags and tries to deplatform people. And we're like, all right, that's the thing you have to avoid. Don't do that. And then he did it.
But the best part also now is
convince him to do it.
He was hoping to, of course, get our channel taken down. He hasn't even done that. He failed at that.
He thought he did think he was going to do that, but he also thought that there's Australian law that would work with DMCA, which would literally the A in DMCA is America. So really doesn't really apply to Australia. And the thing is
not very smart.
If YouTube found out that he said that, which they will soon, they will throw away the strikes. And the thing is, what they do to people who falsely strike people is far worse than what they do to people who just
and we will not be humble in victory either.
No. We won't lay off either, by the way. If he came begging for us to stop, we will be like, don't worry, this will end eventually, but we're not going to stop. It will be over at some point.
Flyfox Pro says, I like YouTubers that have no fans. Makes me feel cool like a hipster. That's why I like Nasser.
I like no fans.
I like YouTubers when they have no fans as well. Like they're I don't want to name any
they're
names.
too honest to have a lot of subscribers.
No, like Han, but there's a couple of people I don't want to name because they're actually sub to me that I liked their channels, and then when they got a bunch of subs, or even just a few hundred, they went full retard. So I'm with Fox Pro. Like I like YouTubers
don't
that have no fans.
Don't mention Comic Book Hut. Don't say Comic Book Hut.
Oh man,
that
guy. I don't know if we should or not, but I really that guy's a fraud.
Don't mention Mecca McCheese either.
Well, that's the thing. That's how it comes out. Is like, okay. At first, I was like, okay, I don't like these guys. I don't really care, or I'm indifferent.
At the very beginning, I remember like they would come onto our Discord, and it's like, oh, these guys are stupid and annoying, but we don't really have any fans to turn away. Can't really afford to be turning away fans. And then eventually, you got to the point where it's like, you know what? Screw these guys. I don't care. I hate these people because they're going to make us look bad. So I leaned into that.
Hate us.
I started leaning into that.
Like Comic Book Hut, like his channel is so boring, and he'll put
I gave him so many chances too, and we'll do like a 10-minute video about like 1 minute of saying anything.
That's what I'm like. He'll put in the title it'd be like Red Rooster bombshell, and then he just
and then
there's no bombshell. The bombshell
is Red Rooster is dumb.
Right. The bombshell is like Mitch posted a shirt with the logo on Instagram. Yeah, and he'll try to act like he's like Richard Meyer. Like I think he wants to be Zach.
Yeah, he was clearly imitating ya boy Zach. He wanted to be that.
But
he's not even with as much charisma, and ya boy Zach is already like a charisma vacuum.
I remember like his channel. It's always been so boring. And there was one time somebody was sending me his video, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't like this guy's channel's boring." And he's like, "Well, he might be boring, but he's one of the only people sticking up for creators like you." And I'm like, "No, he's not though. Like this dude has done one video on Donald, and he doesn't even mention me in it. He's like, the book is late, and it's really late." And he doesn't mention me getting screwed or anything.
To remain late, and it's like the atheism podcast.
A 21-minute video. The book is late.
But I've tried to watch his channel. I gave it chances, and there were times where I was trying to see if he'd take a look at my comic, mention it in a video or something, and he's like, no, and he didn't even respond to me. He waited until he did a video on Kiwi Farms where Ethan mentions like a bunch of like former like CGers like Nurkish and Mike, and he goes down the
Wasn't
list.
that the one where Mike
then-
wasn't even mentioned or something?
Yes,
It was like,
but
oh,
then
wow, the honeymoon is over, isn't it?
yeah, but then when Ethan mentions me and like the Hut gets to me, he's like, "Oh, and Nasser wants me to promote his comic, but I'm not gonna do it because I don't like it." And I'm like, wow, so you're not even gonna reply to me. You're gonna say it on a video that's gonna get a couple hundred views, so that way people don't back me.
Yeah, just offhanded comment.
and
And
It's a
that's
really
exactly
jerk
what
off thing
Richard,
to
by the
do
way.
too. Just a really jerk off thing to do. Yeah, I could help promote this independent creator who's on my side, but I'm not gonna. I don't like anything.
promotion.
I'm not going to
And-
promote anything that it would help him, and that's not even an
And
excuse.
he's like,
I don't give a shit.
his excuse was dumb. He's like, well, I don't like horror, so I'm not gonna promote it. And then I kid you not, it was like 1 or 2 days later, he put out a tweet. He's like, I'm gonna be streaming with Mark Pellegrini soon, and we're gonna talk about this, and this. And one of the things he said was horror. And I was like, you got to be kidding me.
I know
Well, and he revealed himself. That's the thing, is ultimately these people always reveal themselves for their true nature.
Yeah. It was always obvious to me that Comic Hut was just doing it for attention. Like he had
for me,
no interest in
that's
getting
the thing
any
is,
information out.
I
to anyone
heard his
about
name
anything.
before. I heard his name. It tends to be for me. I hear something they do that happens to be interesting or entertaining. Then I find out their name. Happened with Cumtown. Happened with ROTC. Happened with Opie and Anthony. Actually,
Like,
did not happen with Comic Book Hut. I have no idea about anything he does or says.
He doesn't. He just does. He's just a YouTuber who's like, "Oh, this guy did this," and that's it. That's the entire thing.
the Hut is one of those dudes that like there's a group of like these anti-CG dudes that try to act like they were like the biggest names in CG when really no one knew who they were. So he's like he tries to make it seem like he comes off as like I was in the center of it all, man. Like I was friends with Ethan because he liked one of my replies to his tweets once. Like he tries to come off like high and mighty.
Oh my God, that's so pathetic.
Like,
yeah, I remember though. Yeah, wasn't it that like he had 1,000 he claimed he had 1,000 subscribers,
something
at
like
some
that.
point.
And then he deleted his whole YouTube because Cecil made a video one time making fun of him, and he just ran like a complete coward.
What a baby.
So
Yeah, what a bitch.
like
But
here's
also like I apparently I think Ethan had him on like as the butt of a joke, and apparently I didn't realize it.
and like Ethan kicked him or something because he kept like he had a fan or something on like by the mic that just kept making some noise. Like I was on that stream, and then I think Ethan kicked him because he's like, Hut, you keep making all this noise, and he just kicked him.
Well, yeah, every time you listen to, like, I remember listening to his videos when I gave it a shot, and you would hear traffic outside, and it's like,
Yes.
close the fucking window if you're doing a video. At least the bare minimum, close the fucking window.
But like, dude, like this is the thing. He was on one stream. To my knowledge, it was only that one stream with Ethan. He was on for 5 minutes, and the amount of times he brings it up in his videos, like Ethan had invited me one time on a stream. Like I'm somebody, I'm important, and I'm just watching this. Like I streamed nearly every night with Ethan for about a year, and you never hear me mention it. Like it's always like these guys like Hut that like
It should be
Ethan,
a point of shame.
like Ethan liked their comment once or had them on a stream for 5 minutes, and they try and make it seem like they were like in Ethan's like inner circle or something.
He had you on to buy legitimacy. That would be the
He'd be
thing.
right back in the inner circle if Ethan said that he could be. That
Oh,
was the thing. Again, like with Richard, it's like he would pulp his entire run of every single book he's ever worked on if Marvel will let him sweep the floors.
Yeah.
Big facts. Let's see. Furious TV says, I like YouTubers that have no fans, even in the summer, no background noise.
Yeah. He also mentioned, Furious TV mentions later on as he was there to basically Comic Book Hut was there to discredit anyone having real criticism against Comicsgate. And that was the thing. That was, I'm quite sure, after the stream I did with Ethan, where I was like, here are some problems anyone has with Comicsgate sensibly. And Ethan was fucking pissed. He was really like pissy and whiny and just
There's another reason though why we never heard of Hut before. This is why.
But
Because
after that happened, Ethan had to go digging for guys like Hutt to sort of remanufacture his own credibility, to be like, see, people again who are against me are just crazy,
Useful idiots.
knows not only is that not true, but that I completely showed him up on a stream to his face.
A nobody, an essentially a nobody, just just right in his face.
Basically raped him alive on stream.
He joined the Mile High Club.
Yes, he got raped in Denver.
This is off topic, I know, but I just want to say hi to Alejandro because it's been a long time since I've seen him in the chat. It's nice to see you, Alejandro.
wow.
One of the best artists I know.
Was this guy who did the coloring for Earthworm Jim, or?
I think he did. I think he did the piece that, like, right when you open up the book, and then it's also got a piece connected at the end. It's got that big Earthworm Jim connected piece. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's the very first thing when you open up the cover.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember, because I remember his name being mentioned. I think in relation.
Yeah, Doug mentions him.
I think he's gonna work on something with Doug. He did a comic called Long Harbor. There we go. It's called Long Harbor. So he's a really fantastic artist.
That is after reading Creature Tech, now I want to read more of Doug's stuff.
And other things. It's nice to read a good comic every once in a while, isn't it?
It's a nice change of pace to find a comic that is good.
Mm-hmm.
Right. 99% of comics are super forgettable.
If even, like, that's almost lowballing it. That's a low estimate.
Only 99%.
That's true.
Sure?
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting that there's like
maybe
comic writers in the world.
Well, maybe
and that's
now it has gone down to 99% because today we just got a new comic book release.
Comic came out.
That's true. That's true.
Changing the values.
Mm.
Yeah, and you guys could put the link again if you want in the chat, because it's been a little bit.
Let me do that at least. For which one's preferable though? Because there's Gumroad, which is the digital one, which is, you know, kind of shrunken down, and then there's the Amazon one, which is which I don't physically have. I'm sure it's going to come out great.
Just go ahead and put all of them. This is the Super Shill stream. We're putting all our links. You can put your Patreon if you want, anything you want.
Yeah, here's the one I really want to sell actually is the Amazon one, because it's a physical book, and it's like, you know, people like the physical books, and it's brand new. It just came out like yesterday. Fresh, hot new IP, completely super original, mega super original IP that is something that also our followers have been wanting for like the past, not really 10 years, but definitely the past 5 years, like, you know, predating Comicsgate easily.
People have been, in fact, I won't be surprised if more actual people have been actually asking for a Laley book than anyone asking for a Cyber Frog book.
Yes. Yeah, but there's been a lot of people, in fact, some artists I know who either were like, I would like to draw a Laley book if we can get, you know, the money to fund it or something, or people just, I know artists who are like, I would definitely like to read one. I know a really good artist, a really good porn artist, Clumsor, who is a background on our Patreon. So he got a copy of Villains of the Snow Sea, and then he went and bought one anyways off of Gumroad. And I was like, oh, but you already had one from the Patreon. And he was like, oh, oops. And it's like, well, whatever. Because again, it's only the digital copy, just $2. A nice, easy $2. The thing about Amazon, again, which I like, is that it covers the print cost. It puts the cost of the print in the price of the book, which means that the price of the book inherently is going to be more inflated. And for me to make any money at all out of it, I really have to inflate the price more. So it's $10, and it's like I could charge less and get like 25 cents a copy.
Yeah, my books, I could charge probably like 20 cents less, but I keep it at like $10 even. Like that's like pretty much the lowest I could go on it, and I only get like $2 and some change on it. For a
physical copy of a book, I think it's relatively fair. Because again,
the cost of ink.
It's like $3.50 for the printing cost. Like Amazon just tells you when you're making a paperback, it's like, you know,
they glued it to
the last steps and stuff.
I don't know if
making the price.
I don't know if stapling would be easier than gluing, but the point is Amazon glued the pages, I think.
Stapling probably would be easier, but they don't offer it.
Yeah, they don't offer it because I think technically for like an automated process the glue is easier. But if you're going for cheaper, the stapling would be easier. But in order to do that, you would have to make like double-sided, like 4-page. Each sheet of paper would be one long sheet of paper that's like 4. So you would have to make it so it's only divisible by 4. But again, with paperback, you can make it any uneven amount of pages that you want, really, and that's nice. That's a lot of difficulty.
Helpful to the creator. Gee, what if there was like some kind of movement where somebody made like $150,000 and we're like, we're going to try and do our own printing press so we can print comics.
Flyfox Pro says my new book, How to Super Chat for Fake Clout and Get Disgraced Comic Book Pros to Retweet You, is coming out soon. That reminds me of my book where I have a few bullet points for this written down, but I still need to put it together, called Why Most Comic Book Writers Suck. I'm gonna put that out still. I have all my notes jotted down, but this just reminded me of it.
That would be a good one. That would actually be a
great title.
It's already a great title. I would definitely buy that. Whenever you come out with that, I am buying it for sure.
I'm not waiting on that soon. I'm working on a novel right now, but I don't know. Maybe I'll put aside a few days to actually write that out. The tough part though is I'm trying to figure out, like, should I put in like pages of comics that suck for examples? Like, am I allowed to do that or am I not? Like, if
I think if you're publishing it and selling it, you can't really, like, for a video review or something. If you're
like, I know in a video it's fine, but like I'm just thinking about like a book. Like, am I allowed to like take a page? Because I'm trying to whenever I think of this, I'm like, how am I going to put together the best examples? Like, am I just going to have to give really vague examples?
I don't know. I think technically if you used 1 page or half a page to make a specific point, and arrows and sort of the print equivalent of transformative content, it would still technically be covered under fair use, but like it's better to at least get permission.
You'd either want to seek permission or at least consult a lawyer.
Beg forgiveness. I guess in that case, it's actually better to ask permission than beg forgiveness. Usually it's the other way around. But on that case, yeah, you definitely want to ask a real lawyer, though, not some kind of.
You know what? I'm probably just not going to put any pages in there for examples. I'll probably just like talk about them. But
yeah, if you just describe them,
it would actually be a good book, I guess, to actually like reference like in a video.
If you had an artist, if you knew an artist who could do like a simple recreation of the flaws you want to display,
just stick figures. If you forget the artist, just use stick figures or something.
Yes, I think I know someone who actually might do that.
Basically their own version of a drawing, kind of like
white. Kind
of like redrawing Rob Liefeld, those stupid Escher girls.
Yeah, you could hire someone off of Tumblr, and that they would usually provide good examples of what sucks,
unintentionally.
I have my bullet points written down. I'm gonna run it by you guys probably like off stream or something, and maybe see if you guys have any other points to add to this. But I think I have like everything covered, and it. Well, I'm not going to say anything more about that. I almost said what it comes down to, but I'm going to save that for the actual book, or I'll tell you guys off screen.
Don't spoil the surprise.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Yeah, we'll have to go into that later. Although today I don't plan on, like, as soon as the stream's over, which ideally is in a few minutes, I'm just going to go back to the chair and just slump and be like, I'm done. Because I even did some writing today on. I'm writing chapter 3 of Villains of the Snow Sea. Chapter 2 is already finished writing, and I promised I wouldn't make any promises about how soon chapter 2 is going to come out. It could take months. It could be until next year, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it will take that long, but again, it's really up to the artist, and he's really throwing himself into it. So it could take 3 or 4 months. It could take 5 months. I don't know.
Already out producing comics.
Yeah, whenever it comes out, it'll come out. The thing is, I have other scripts that are completely finished, ready to be made. All I need is to know other really good artists. I think
Nasser. Nasser so wanted out.
He wanted out. He wanted to escape.
Who's in control of the stream then? Because I'm definitely not in control of the stream.
Who's going to do it? I think. Well, I mean, if we left, it would just be streaming a blank thing. But I'm pretty sure he'll come back at a few minutes, because it would just let him back in. Actually,
It could be a few minutes, or it could be like 15 minutes. I kind of need to get out of the chair.
Yeah, we've been on a lot. It says live for 2 hours and 15 minutes, so it's going on.
It's pretty good. I think that's
Well, a couple things I want to mention though is again, Villains of the Snow Sea, chapter 2 in the works, so it will come out eventually, and it will come out sooner.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry, my internet. First, you guys went Robo, and then I'm like, what are you guys saying? And then it completely died on me. So I apologize.
All right, yeah,
that was weird. It was weird you getting kicked out of your own show.
You're getting kicked out of your own show, kicking Nasser out of its own show. But yeah, I was just talking about how Villains of the Snow Sea #2 will be coming eventually. It'll be in time, and it'll probably be sooner than most people expect, even sooner than Comicsgate, which is a really low bar to, again, like being one of the best comic book writers. It's a low bar indeed. But yeah, Villains of the Snow Sea 2, it's in the works. It's already gonna look.
I already read. I got it for free because I'm living in the same house.
You're literally living in the same house as the person who wrote it.
So I read it, and it's like, oh man, this already has more story and world building and better art and better action than like so many other comics.
And it's in a weird way. It's not the usual like comic book kind of way that you would expect, where it's like the good guy and they're having some action. It's like kind of weirdly bleak, but I think the way I picture it, and I can't say for sure, I can't speak for any reader, but I think the way that this comic is, it's a lot of comic book readers are going to read this and have no idea what they could ever possibly expect. Like, this comic could go anywhere that they would never be able to predict. I think that's how I really feel.
Most especially,
it's not even that unpredictable, but for comic book readers, it's going to be like, what the hell is
I'm familiar with the character too, so for me reading it, it's like I'm actually invested in what's going on. I'm trying to like kind of critique it, and it's like, you know what? I actually care about what's happening. I definitely want to know what happens next.
That was another thing. Like, again, old classic shitty webcomics fans, they're definitely all familiar with Laylee, and a lot of people, the readers, the fans, the artists who were also readers and fans of our blog, all the way back then, going back years. A lot of them really liked Laylee. They certainly knew that I liked Laylee anyways, but a lot of them, I think Laylee at least grew on them, and they definitely would want to see a comic starring, like with her in a starring, not some weird background cameo, although she's getting a lot of very fun, interesting cameo appearances. In fact, anyone who got Black Ops 3, Laylee not only makes an in-person appearance, but like some art of her by Elsevilla shows up on a wall, and so she shows up like several times. In fact, Thomas even shows up. Thomas and Laylee together.
Very picturesque.
Yes, but it's a great little cameo. But for anyone who wants more than the cameo, Laylee now officially has her own like starring role in a comic, which
that's
is
who we are.
That's
who we are. We got her as a cameo in the works of Tim Lim.
Yeah, Tim Lim actually snuck her into, well, not several comics necessarily, but in Black Ops 2, there was a picture of her very hidden. But in Black Ops 3, it looks like it's certainly not hid. She's very out and visible, which is great. And
busted out.
I think probably Common America 2 will have something. But I remember Common America 1 had a King Wolf logo on a T-shirt that Carly was wearing. I was like, oh, that's cool too. So there's all sorts of references to our stuff in a lot of Tim Lim's recent, because he's always hiding Easter eggs and putting in references.
Yeah, I finally got my own Easter egg. Which one's it in? I don't think it's out yet. I think it's whatever their next one.
Space Force or something?
No, it wasn't Space Force. It's he has a page where Doug and I think Carrot is her name are both against some.
We knew her as Kay, but that's going back again. She was one of the original fans of the blog way back in the day.
Okay.
Back in like 2013, she was a reader of the blog.
But yeah, but those two are both at some like little restaurant or something.
Yeah, they're
And
at
then,
and that's right. You're the waiter.
yes, and I'm supposed to be taking their order, but I'm actually writing.
Yes, that's right. That was the secret
Yeah.
backstory of your cameo. So even that's one of the things I really love about Tim and Mark's stuff is even the little cameos of all the fun. It's some of them have aged very badly, but
Yeah.
the recent ones I think will age much better. But the I love how they even have backstories to them, which maybe someone only us know. Laylee is the bouncy girl from the videos. The thing is that she's also from the first novel I ever wrote, which was that was like right after we got banned. I had an idea for the novel, and to be honest, it was always supposed to be a comic book. And it was about these people, Thomas and Laylee, and it's a very kind of almost depressing, bleak, but
Probably still be a comic book.
yeah, it still could be. But the thing is that this new one, Villains of the Snow Sea, I think is a much better story and a better vehicle, I guess you could say, for Laylee and for Thomas. Thomas, for anyone who doesn't know, shows up at the end but is unseen. There will be a lot more scene of him. There's going to be a lot more scene of both of them in the second chapter, and I mean that in every way, including the way that is going to prevent Doug TenNapel from ever reading the comic.
It's going to scare
Oh,
off
poor
Doug
Doug.
TenNapel. Well, also,
Poor
yeah,
Doug.
Bouncy Girl
The
from
first
our
chapter
video.
scared him off already, I think.
That's the animated GIF that I think Clumsor made.
Yeah, Clumsor made the animated GIF of Laylee bouncing, and we have that in the corner of pretty much every video we do. Just because I love the GIF so much. It's like from the potential never be made Laylee beat 'em up, like final fight kind of game.
Laylee-vania video game.
Yeah, Laylee-vania.
Oh man.
It's like a Metroidvania.
But yeah, I really I know we mentioned this already, but I really love how Amazon will manage the printing, and the cost of the printing is just right up front in the price. Then they'll
Right.
handle the fulfillment, and the fulfillment will be in the mailer, a nice waterproof plastic bubble wrap mailer that's very very nice and secure.
Right. And the just the best part about it, at least for me, is that anybody in the world right now could read your book or could read my books on any device that they have. They could read it on their computer,
Yeah, the
their
digital option,
laptop,
that instant digital option is really nice, and that's why I always want to make sure I have that digital option instantaneously for anyone who just wants to click and see it. But then it
Right.
is really cool to have the physical, like, because I never expected to be able to do it because the money you have to have up front to print it. Now Amazon actually takes care of that.
And for
right.
me, I consider, it's the physical option, but really digital is not even an option. It has to be it's the necessity.
Yeah, it's
because
kind
we
of
have to think
mandatory.
about this from the viewpoint of an actual independent. Anyone who tells you that it's like, anyone who says something along the lines of, you can't have a real comic unless it's in print, or
They're
you're not
not
an
a digital
independent
comic.
creator. They're not a real creator.
No,
Right, they're just a dummy because
Yeah.
the digital is awesome because you don't have to print anything. It's just somebody could instantly read it. Anybody in the world right now could instantly read our books, and they won't have to worry about shipping. Nothing gets lost in the mail. They just have it there, and they could read it and enjoy it. And they could read it on their desktop. They go to the other room. They could read it. They could continue on their phone. They don't have to worry about it, getting bent up or spilling coffee on it. Well, I mean, you guys, you got to worry about spilling coffee on your computer, but you know what I mean. Like,
tablet.
but like, it's just, I don't know. It's really convenient. I prefer to have a physical copy. That's just me. I hate looking at the screen and reading, but it's
It is
for
good.
me,
It is
actually.
nice to have a physical copy.
I mean, especially when
I've
the
never
lights go out.
nobody should have physical copies, and it's weird how people lie about that and misrepresent it and be like, "You guys don't do physical. You think that nobody should read physical copies." It's like we've never said that. But the thing is that, yeah, I have physical copies of a lot of comics I like, but most of the comics I like, I read off of my computer. Berserk is one of
All
them.
those physical copies too, they take a ton of space. Yeah, if we ever had if we ever owned every issue or every volume of Berserk that we read, there'd be no space left in the house for anything.
Yeah, really. One of my favorite comics of the entire past year, at least the past 12 months or whatever, was Common America. And I got that digitally, when it was released, and I read it immediately and I enjoyed it.
You know, what was also nice is that you talked with Tim about what was the quality of the video file or the image file.
The PDFs and stuff.
For the file size, and it's like, these are things that we should be discussing as creators nowadays.
Yeah. That's what creators should be discussing, is like, how much should you downsample or like shrink the resolution on your PDF of the comic, especially if you have other avenues you're planning to sell. Like I'm planning to sell Villains of the Snow Sea digitally over Comixology. That's going to be full resolution. But as far as like the $2 option for Gumroad that you can just go read right now, it's very shrunken down. And to read some of the text, you have to really zoom it up, and it's pixelated. But again, it's that instantaneous cheap option. And
part of the PDF file that I use, there's like a plus and a minus right next to each other.
Yeah, that's part of it. Like any PDF will just let you automatically zoom. Like PDFs these days, you can just launch them in your browser, so you don't even need the stupid Adobe Acrobat. But if you have Adobe Acrobat, it will usually zoom it automatically too. But again, these are the things that comic creators kind of need to be considering and talking about, all these options, because it's possible.
Simple adaptations, but it's time that we adapted.
Yeah, you could say, though, that in a way I may have done it a bit wrong to have, because I wanted Villains of the Snow Sea, I wanted the PDF to be really small so that people would have a justification to buy it in the other ways. But, for $2, that's not so expensive that people, are going to be like, oh, that's too rich for my blood, too small for your blood, Mr. Swan.
Well, guys, we've been going for almost 2.5 hours.
Okay, 2.5 hours.
So if you guys want to get the links and post them one
Here,
last time.
let me post I'll post the physical copy of Villains of the Snow Sea, because this will be the best version, I think, for people to read, is the physical edition. And again, you will still have to wait. Like if you want the digital edition, you can check me out on Thomas Royloop on Twitter or whatever. I think, I would love to post a new YouTube video on our channel, but we can't post videos anymore because no joke, unironically, Comicsgate actually deplatformed us from being able to post videos.
They deplatformed us, and then they tried to justify their deplatforming of us, and then also said that Comicsgate doesn't support deplatforming and that we're defaming them by claiming that.
Even though they do not actually denounce us being deplatformed, and in fact openly support monetarily paying the people who deplatformed us. And they keep
not just monetarily either.
Yeah. And we didn't make them do that. We didn't make any of them do this. They chose to do it.
And they did this stuff before we even got deplatformed. Yeah. They support flaggatry. They support doxing.
Yeah.
And they've been called out on this.
Tribunals.
They've been called out on this too. And they always make excuses or try and duck the question.
But none of that matters, though. None of that matters anymore. We got a new comic book out. You can buy it. And so
we have officially outproduced Comicsgate.
Right. Yeah. And with just 2 releases in like a matter of a week, you outproduced
them. It's not so much in the matter of a week. It was like over the course of a year.
I know that, but I just mean like, in 1 week you put out 2 books and then you just automatically like.
Yeah, I got 2 books physical editions, the literally #1 physical edition, and then Villains of the Snow Sea, the brand new comic physical edition. So yeah, that is more prolific. And again, you don't have to like go to my Indiegogo and back at the tier and pay
and wait $5.
Back the $200 tier so that you get the physical edition with the mailer, which is just basically a cardboard box with some drawings on them.
A cardboard box. Cardboard box.
Right. All right, guys. But anyways,
Okay.
I'm gonna end it now. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.
Buy our comics.
Yes. Buy SWC's comics. That's the link right there down in the chat. I have a new book that came out today. That's the link right there. But buy all of our books.
Yeah,
And
get
have a great
Nasser's
day.
book.
Right, and share out the links too. Share these with anybody who might like them.
Yeah.
Peace.
Bye.